lost so much weight.
Yeah, little bit.
Yeah.
आपको
You're looking younger.
आपको देख के मैं भी inspire हुआ.
How many times have you watched Khosla?
Many times.
Many times, right?
Part of growing up.
हाँ.
यहाँ पे पेशाब करना मना है. कमाड़ी पेशाब करने आया.
We were not allowed to read film magazine. चोरी छिप के कहीं से पढ़ लिया.
Mostly I would read with one hand.
हाँ, Stardust.
Sorry, I was very fluent in Czech, French, all these languages यार. लोगों ने कहा कैसे क्लासेस ले तो मैंने मॉर्निंग शो जाते हैं.
ये पता है ये this is now going to become इतने numbers आएंगे ना इस podcast of a different kind of.
रेशमा की जवानी.
But I have a grouse यार with Sacred Games. Why did you leave it at a cliffhanger यार?
यार ये उनको पूछो आप वरुण ग्रोवर को अनुराग को उनको पूछो वो लेखक हैं. आज मेरे को किसी ने बोला है कुछ सरकार आने दे हम तेरे को दिखाएंगे. कांग्रेसियों ने मेरे को बोला. And I said what? So summary executions as soon as he's PM.
Disclaimer, he's my batchmate.
Who?
Rahul Gandhi.
Really? में हाँ.
Traitor! All of them are so scared to talk about Islam and the discrimination there. मतलब 4 नींबू निचोड़ने से दूध भी इतना नहीं फटता जिनकी इतनी फटती है. सबने अपनी tweets.
I want to remember this मुहावरा.
So they don't have the guts because they know सर तन से जुदा हो जाएगा. लेकिन हिंदुइज्म के अगेंस्ट कुछ भी बोल दो और फिर जब हिंदूज
वो तो है ही ना
को गुस्सा आए तब कहीं की देखो ये आज ये नया इंडिया है.
मैंने तो सर तन से जुदा के खिलाफ कहा था.
Yes.
कि सर तन से जुदा is mostly by people who are दिमाग सर से जुदा. They went overboard के generation after generation to stay in power. अपीजमेंट के इतने गियर चला दिए कि खुद ही नहीं याद रहा कि क्या क्या चालू किया हुआ है. 2014 में आई वाज एक्चुअली कैनवसिंग फॉर आम आदमी पार्टी. सो दैट्स वेयर इट स्टार्ट.
चप्पल लाना जरा पिटाई.
आप तो कह रहे थे आप बीजेपी सपोर्टर मोदी सपोर्टर नहीं है.
आई एम अ नोटा वोटर. तो मैंने अपनी बीवी से कहा प्लीज वोट फॉर केजरीवाल.
यार वोट भी खुद नहीं कर सकते वो भी बीवी को. मतलब हद होती है पेट्रियार्की की यार.
Other than Ravina Tandon and Tip Tip.
Yes.
Who else?
Come on. Who else?
I didn't realize that Ravina has such a cult following.
नहीं अब फाइनली आप एडिट में जो डालोगे वही होगा.
Edit नहीं होता कुछ भी.
नहीं होता more or less.
Namaste, Jai Hind. Welcome to another edition of ANI Podcast with Smita Prakash. Thank you for watching or listening on whichever channel you are seeing this or hearing this, and also sharing it with people who you think will benefit from these conversations. My guests today are 2 people who you would know if you were on social media, and well, who isn't on social media. Ranvir Shorey, a storehouse of talent, the adorable Balwant or Bunty of Khosla ka Ghosla, and those of you who are pre-millennials would remember him in his avatar as a VJ. And of course, a whole host of roles he has played in Hindi films and shows on OTT platforms. But Ranvir, the actor, is someone who's very active on social media and interacts with many long-time users of Twitter or now X, happily tweeting memes and sharp political comments. Joining us in the conversation is the very erudite Anand Ranganathan, who's not new to the ANI podcast. Scientist and political commentator Anand and Ranvir take no prisoners. Also joining us in the podcast is my colleague Ishan Prakash, who has a sharp take on politics and foreign policy matters. So let's get going. Thank you, Ranvir, at last on the ANI podcast. I'm so happy.
Thank you for having me. This is like one off my bucket list. It was my dream to be in this room.
Thank you so much. You know Anand, of course. Everybody
Hello,
knows Anand.
Namaste.
So I'm so happy you're here together along with Ishan. So we're going to get the young opinions and the young input
I
from
thought
Ishan.
that's what I'm here for.
From
Nice.
Ishan and Anand, you said.
Ishan and Anand.
Thank you.
Minimal intervention.
Young.
though.
Yes.
Minimal interventions.
Between you.
Young opinions, Khan.
हाँ, ठीक है.
हाँ. So,
His age is the same as Rahul Gandhi, so he's also.
No, I'm younger.
Are you younger? You don't look a day older than 59, though.
But that's young now, ना?
अच्छा.
That's
and the 50s is youth icon, right?
अच्छा,
Yuva Neta.
हम लोग
So
तो infancy
I'm a
में.
baby icon.
So Ranveer, the reason you are more than just an actor, of course, I mean, we all have our favorite Khosla ka Ghosla takeaway. And you became like the favorite for all of us since that day. Though you've done VJ, ये सब कुछ कर चुके हो आप.
Yep. Ghosla is the gift that keeps on giving in my life.
Yeah. So, I'm sure you want to like, मेरे को typecast मत करो, ये मत करो, वो मत करो. I need to be known by something more than that. But for us, it will always be,
I don't know whether I should laugh or cry, but thank you. Yes, I guess. There's no escaping Khosla now.
But that was milestone, hai ki nahi?
That week, actually, they were a week apart. Two films, Khosla Ka Ghosla and Pyar Ke Side Effects. They both released a week apart and it changed my life that week. I mean, it put me on the map. Since then, touchwood, I might have worked less in some years, but I've been doing steady work since then. So, thank God for that week.
Yeah.
How many times have you watched Khosla?
Many times.
Many times, right?
Part of growing up.
हाँ.
Yeah.
यहाँ पे पेशाब करना मना है कमाड़ी पेशाब करने आया?
I think my favorite moment was when he
That
asked
was mine.
his,
What was yours?
आपका नाम. So he says, is it Chironji Lal? He says, नहीं, पिताजी का नहीं, आपका नाम. क्या मेरा नाम?
Vinay says that, yeah.
But you are Bunty.
I'm Bunty. No, so this is Vinay's line. Vinay meets Parveen's character.
Vinay Pathak, no?
Yeah, Vinay.
हाँ.
So he plays the the agent, right? So he asks him, आपका नाम? He says Chironji Lal. अरे आपके बाप का नहीं, आपका नाम.
आपका
He
नाम
says
चिरंजीवी.
Can you
ये कोई
imagine?
नाम है?
But I think even Anupam Kher's role in this and their father-son banter was
That dynamics.
was so good.
Yeah.
It sort of encapsulated everything जो relationship होता है ना in
Middle class,
in a
yeah.
middle class
Delhi, yeah.
yeah, aspirational sort of Delhi
yeah.
उस समय it captured it at that particular point so well.
Yeah.
And
It wasn't that, Bauji Peripona, it's not that relationship which was like not realistic, in modern day life. But that was so cute.
There were no cliches in it.
Huh.
That's
In fact, that was the time when about 6 or 7 or maybe 10 films were depicting exactly what you said. I think Rishi Kapoor also came in one. Rishi Kapoor, Neetu Singh. I forget the name.
those
of
must
the
have
film.
been later. Khosla started
Khosla
actually the
started.
trend of the
started,
Delhi-centric films.
Oye, Bunty, Lucky, Oye.
That was after.
That was after. That also came after.
Uh-uh.
But yeah, like I said, the snapshot of that time.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Thanks, Nidhi. But when you saw the script pehli baar, so what was your reaction when you saw it? Because obviously it was away from the mold.
I remember reading the script, shutting the last page and telling myself, this is a perfect screenplay. I still remember it. So after Khosla was shot, it was stuck for a few years. Now the story can be told. At that time we were told when it was releasing, mat bolna ke 2-3 saal ho gaye bane hue, because it affects the thing. But the fact is, after it got made, it got stuck for, I think, post-production money and other stuff for a couple of 2-3 years. And we would meet as a team, all of us, Anupam ji, Baman, me, Tara, Parveen, Jaideep, Dibakar. We would meet, kind of keep the spirit alive, and try and, you call this one, this one, like a group effort to get it out there. It went through all that. This, after knowing that what is in the cans is really good. Yeah. So, knowing that something good is there and there's nothing you can do. And then finally, when it came out, of course, everybody got redeemed, especially, Dibakar and Jaideep, who are incredible.
आप क्या builder है कि broker है?
नहीं, party
की broker है.
Even
That's a
the
meme
area, the area.
I use that for Congress a lot.
We are going to get into the politics of it also.
Everything leads
A lot of
to
people
politics.
use it for journalists though.
Yes. We get trolled a lot with that.
Congress party है या
broker.
In fact, your bio says that, na? Your, क्या था?
Pin tweet. Oh my God.
Friends, I'm going to read this out. So those of you who are not on
Please
Twitter.
put the beeps in.
Those who are not on Twitter, so you need to open an account. I'm not like, this looks like a promo for Twitter. Yeah. But anyway, X. Sorry. So this is what his pin tweet is. Friends, with so many of you writing into me here on Twitter, it's not always possible for me to reply to each and every abuse. Please know that each and every one of them has a special place in my fart. So, I just like, oh gosh. I think many of us have been following you since we joined X. Yeah. It was like, and it's such a refreshing thing because you are so... you're so not politically correct. You are like, जिसको troll करना है, जिसके troll को उड़ाना है, जिसको memes लगाना है.
I normally don't troll. I mean, unless it's like a national political figure or some like I will, like, if for example, me and Anand, luckily we get along and we are on the same side of the political fence. But say he wasn't.
Science की तरफ से.
Huh?
Science की तरफ से.
मतलब. Say he wasn't. Say if he writes something, like for example, Tessin I follow many people who I don't agree with.
Correct.
So if they say something, I will not start कि तूने ये क्यों बोला, तू ये. I don't do that. Because everybody has a voice. You say what you want to say. Let me say what I want to say. And that's the principle I go with. I mean, now, if I'm talking about like a, you know, maybe like a, say a Rahul Gandhi, then I mean, I might go like point
that's
a finger.
A political view. That's not a trolling.
Yeah, and
you know?
the thing is, I am writing about because he wants to be the prime minister of my country.
Yeah.
If he stops doing that, I have no reason to write about him.
Huh.
You
We
know?
were in fact just today discussing this, and it just came up, and Ishan was like, if you're going to be speaking with Ranvir today, you've got to ask him about this. So I said, baith na mere saath and discuss. Remember, we were talking about the culture wars, and we were discussing this.
Yeah,
That-
yeah, absolutely. So Rahul Gandhi has been going in his rally and giving speeches about representation of essentially backward classes, castes, the lower castes and all, in the lack of representation in decision making.
Backward class.
But
roles.
look at what he's saying ना. He's mentioning कोई आपका कोई जो टॉप की जो whatever 100-200 कंपनीज है उनमें से कोई ओनर है. अच्छा उनमें से नहीं है, टॉप मैनेजमेंट में कोई है. अच्छा गवर्नमेंट में जो सेक्रेटरीज हैं वो है. All these places cannot be filled in 10 years.
Yeah.
This goes back to the time when your party was ruling.
Of course.
So it's like basically अपनी ही मतलब मैं कहूँ I have farted in this room और मैं ही तुमको वो किसने किया है बताओ किसने किया है but guy it's your stink. So why are you getting so aggressive? So
my thing is, what is the conclusion though? What
Of
is the
what?
solution of what he's saying?
See, what he's saying,
pointed out things that there are issues over here कि ये C-suite roles में C-suite, the CEOs, CXOs, whatever, there is a lack of representation of backward classes. So okay, so what do you do? And you're saying it in a very aggressive way. So what is the solution to this? Do
Because
you
he
have more
says-
affirmative action.
यार
method?
मेरा
हाँ.
वर्जन सुनना है मेरा सोल्यूशन अगेन
Since you
मेरी तो
tweeted-
कोई सुनेगा नहीं बट
क्योंकि
माय
वो-
सोल्यूशन वुड बी you cannot get rid of caste and class by going on talking about it. उसको बिल्कुल कहने ना उसका मेंशन ही इलीगल कर दो and then it's just a function of time. You for example now Mr. Gandhi is going on saying this. The reservation policies were inducted
vestige of
by
their
his
government,
party and his forefathers, right? Now after 70 years of doing that, if you're still raising
हाँ.
तो मतलब वो 70 साल जो लोगों ने सैक्रिफाइसेस दिए हैं जनरल क्या कहते हैं कैटेगरी वालों ने दे आर इन वेन. इफ 70 साल रिजर्वेशन करने के बाद तुम यही कहने वाले हो तो 70 साल वो करके क्या फायदा हुआ? So then let's rethink it. Maybe reservations should be on another basis then, because obviously this is not working out.
Yeah. Anand, what do you have to say to this?
Yeah, so even I've got trolled because our favorite fact checker, who has a habit of truncating videos, uploaded one truncated video, and
Yeah.
this is the sign of the times. I think you've also had.
नहीं मेरा कभी डायरेक्ट उससे पाला नहीं पड़ा बट आई नो व्हाट ही डज. ही इज अ
Yeah.
कांग्रेस पीआर एजेंसी बाय ओमिशन.
Three or four ways to look at it. I think one is, do we have a moral obligation to give reservations? Personally, I feel we do, but I personally feel they have to be time bound and they have to be precise, targeted.
They were supposed to be time bound. That's written.
In fact,
Yeah.
Dr. Ambedkar
Yeah.
said this,
said.
and this was reiterated by none other than the Chief Justice of India, that would be time bound. I think 10 to 30 years that was the case, but clearly, as you say, it's not the case. And increasingly now, including the BJP for the last 20 years, starting from when Mr. Kovind, the ex-president, was the of UP in BJP, many others, including the social justice minister of state currently of the current government, and the Congress, they want reservations in private sector because they're saying the reservations in public sector are not having their impact. So what I said was, if we have a moral obligation, then a nudge is the answer. That is, in the private sector, if the parties want, then you incentivize it. For example, that is the case for many women reservations in private sector as well, I beg your pardon. And so many other cases. And you give a choice. You give a choice to the private sector. Look, we will incentivize this. If you have reservations, then you will get this tax incentive or so many other things, which is not what the parties want, which is wrong.
Affirmative action wali jo baat hoti hai.
Right. So that's my view. It hasn't changed for the last 6-7 years. That's what I thought. That I don't want to thrust my views on the private sector, but you can. People are giving incentives to private sector all the time. It's their choice.
But
You want
sorry,
to do
but
it, you
I'm going to slightly
Sure.
probe into this, which is if it hasn't worked in the public sector after
Yeah.
70 years, what makes you think it will work in the private sector?
Yeah, that's another debate because
Second thing I
politicians
want-
haven't made it work. In the
That's
sense
what
that
I'm saying. What
the creamy layer.
It's like in the film industry, you know, I remember even, you know, when the time of film magazines used to be there, at that time I remember about maybe 20 years ago or something like that, reading this, how many producers, how many top actors, they are all Swarn Jati, you know, there is no representation. And for a fact, I know this is pre-social media, that for a fact I know that in the film industry, nobody sees tumhari zaat kya hai. You know, religion, caste, all this just doesn't matter. Just like in media, even though, or hospital. Do you think any of us, when we go to the OT, if somebody is wheeled in after an accident, क्या हम पूछते हैं कि डॉक्टर से कि भाई तुम्हारी कास्ट क्या है, मैं उसी हिसाब से करूँगा?
But that was the one progress that we had made in
Yeah.
this in the last 70 years, which is now being undone by
So-
Mr. Gandhi himself. Yeah, I think we should just simply, like how the N word was blacked out
Yeah.
in the US, the C word should just be like illegal to talk about, mention anything, and then just give it time. It's a function of time. If a system which is working properly, you give it enough time, it will work. But for 70 years you have tried doing this and it's not working, there's something not right, because fact is it's just become a political tool now. It more
It's
than
a
anything,
definite
it's just become
but, you
that.
know, on the N-word thing, interestingly now the N-word has been completely appropriated by the blacks themselves. I mean, if you watch
oh,
that
yeah.
They are the
Pulp
only
Fiction,
ones, yeah.
they are the ones who use it freely.
Yes.
And I don't know if you are allowed
It's by
to,
using it, saying bro. You know,
Yeah.
for just to say.
or queer, or you know. I
वो
mean,
भी नहीं
they're-
होना चाहिए
हाँ.
था. I don't think that.
I
should have
don't think
happened.
so, yeah.
Because
I
their
don't-
own community should not be allowed.
But notice the
But how can you
caste
stop?
thing.
I mean, you are a free speech absolutist as well, right? I mean, you can't.
I'm not as much an
Okay.
absolute. I think you know you it comes with the responsibility. So वो जो जिसका किसका quote है वो, you are free to say what you want,
Yeah.
but after
हाँ.
saying whether you will be free, I cannot
वो
guarantee.
Idi Amin का. You have complete freedom of speech, but I don't think you have freedom after speech.
Yeah. So after speech, what you say that matters.
But
So
what about this free speech, this Natasha call?
Yeah.
Freedom of speech ends where the problem of my sovereignty lies,
Pinocchio.
right? कि उसको
you didn't see my thing I put on
No, I haven't.
Abhijit's post. Under that I've put a Pinocchio thing, na.
मैंने देखा
I'm
नहीं
not
अभिजीत
that
का,
kind of girl.
अच्छा. But I think I think the government does act a bit silly. I mean, it gives, prominence to such people who are a dime a dozen. I mean, you know, what
क्या
she
prominence?
says is so
Anand, do you
ridiculous, it's illogical, irrational.
क्या prominence?
I know,
उन्होंने तो
but-
अंदर entry बंद की है, क्या prominence?
हाँ, पर क्यों की बंद यार? मतलब why?
यहाँ पे है कि
State
if she's sharing a stage or she's getting funded by organizations that is reported, and there's no confirmation of this, if it has connections with Pakistani security agencies, then you can't enter our shores like that. I think there has to be some sort of if the
So
government
I
if
didn't
there
know
is-
about there's a direct connection between
Yes.
Pakistan
So
and
there are some open source intelligence people who put out stuff of her linkages with the networks run by Ghulam Nabi Fai and all. Again, this is subject to more checks. But if there is an angle like that, then I think it requires some deeper sort of investigations by the government before people like this are allowed to come
नहीं,
into
but
our
वो
show.
तो I'm saying this tells you how dirty the politics in India is, that because now there's a Congress government in Karnataka, they've invited her. Apparently, is what I read.
Yes, that's-
yeah,
You're
yeah.
absolutely right.
So
Correct.
this tells you how dirty the politics is in India, where national security and national interest becomes second to the-
Yes.
your own interests, the party's interests.
Bhai, you remember the time when Yasin Malik was feted in Delhi and Sayyid Ali Shah Gilani, and matlab, I have seen Pakistan High Commission का उनका National Days होता था, and as journalists we go there, that we used to go there at least. I mean now अब वो होते ही नहीं है वो National Day celebrations, और ना मीडिया को बुलाते हैं वो. But there was a time you'd go
JKLF
and
people were
I
invited.
just
Yeah.
stopped on the day when I saw that Gilani walks in and the ambassador, the high commissioner, everybody just stops everything and जैसे कोई head of state आया है, and हमारे country के ministers वगैरह उनके पास जा रहे हैं, ex chief ministers उनके पास जा रहे हैं बात करने के लिए with Gilani, and they're considered like so VIP many of us just walked out and never again attended their
appeasement.
Yeah.
वही है ना, appeasement. यही तो रोना था, यही तो सारे रोते हैं कि why this government, why Modi had to happen and why this big
Shift had to
shift
happen.
happened is because appeasement politics had reached break point. I mean,
And mind you, covering Pakistani interactions in Delhi or their press conferences, that's the work of journalists. We will continue to do that. But when you see separatists being actively
Fated.
Yeah.
that is really objectionable.
Can I
feel.
ask you a question?
Yeah, sure.
So you were there. You saw this at that time. This was part of the zeitgeist. You
Yeah.
had separatists over there. We were actively talking to these people. The government at the highest levels
Yeah.
was talking to people. Did that also distill down to the way journalists were thinking at the time?
So many of us used to ask this, that, why is this happening? Why are you talking? So the off the record briefings that we were that, देखो ये हमारे लोग ही तो हैं. They are also Indian after all. And if we keep treating them as separate from being Indian, that means you are fueling, or we are all party in fueling that separatist tendency. So let us draw them closer to us. And the naive belief that, the more you draw in a separatist, you soften the separatist. So one way of doing it is keep throwing money, bags of cash, which was given to them from both sides of the spectrum, and being soft towards them. उनके रिश्तेदारों को वीजा दे दिया जो इस्लामाबाद में बैठे हैं,
ये वो
जो
जो
लंदन में बैठे
पाकिस्तानी
हैं.
आंटी की जो मीम है ना, ये सब मिलके
But this, क्या बताऊं? This, so you're saying that
Government.
the
गवर्नमेंट मिली हुई
the
है.
people, the
नहीं, not that
separatists,
one, the other one. ये सब मिलके दुनिया
हाँ,
बना रहे हैं.
okay.
the separatists who were talking to, I mean, it wasn't clear that they were just playing journalists at that time. I mean, journalists were that easy to be influenced.
Look, it depends on how you want to look. No, the journalists were not. I don't think journalists were influenced, because the journalists in many ways feel that if I was to talk about journalists as a big thing, everybody has their own personal biases, of course. Some of us were labeled as ultra-nationalists who would not engage with them. But I would not as a person. But ANI would have to. So we did cover the Charare Sharif falling, and we did cover all these events which happened, Mastgul, and all, when he said, मैं सब कुछ जला दूंगा, राख कर दूंगा, we covered that.
But anyway, Ishan, my point is, whatever is the political dispensation of the time, and then again a function of time, how long it's been there, will affect everything.
Yeah.
It'll affect what journalists,
Absolutely.
the way journalists think, the way filmmakers think, the way what the public discourse is.
Yes.
It affects everything. For I always say this, like the government is like the parents. मैं क्यों why I am so against the dynast Congress is that when there should have been discipline inculcated, cleanliness, toilets, when all this should have been done post independence, all that didn't happen. Instead, what happened was, one after the other, the focus remained how to keep this within the family. This is my biggest grouse, and it continues till today. I mean, is it in a democracy? For 4 generations, you have given prime ministers. Have the grace to sit out now, yeah. Let other people have the grace to do that. Meri family has been given the privilege and honor by this country for 3-4 generations to lead. Take a break. You can do whatever else you want.
Sonia Gandhi sat out.
But come on.
No, but this is a
Sat
great way
out.
to great way to segue. This clarity is why I guess that you have so many fans as well. You showed this clarity also when you tweeted about the Ram Mandir. At that time, it was not a lot of people would come out on Twitter or come out on any other public space for that matter and acknowledge कि यार उनकी जो thought process है, it evolved, it changed. I think you were the first person of note I can think of who actually said that you thought of the Ram Mandir and Ayodhya, your feelings were completely
but
different.
Ishan, if you read it properly, it said that sacrifice, that even that time
you sacrificed the Ram Lalla.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's something that even at that time the feeling, and I think a lot of people will agree with this, and a lot of people agreed with that thing which I wrote also, is that time the feeling was yaar, for peace, if we don't do this also, it's okay, yaar. Let's have peace.
Okay, I'm going to interrupt, sorry. For those who are not on Twitter, I'm going to read out what Ranvir had tweeted then. It was a note actually. He said, I was one of the many Hindus who were willing to sacrifice the temple at Ayodhya and have a monument or a hospital in its place just so we can end this long-standing conflict between communities. Today I feel ashamed that I was willing to sacrifice righteousness at the altar of peace, ashamed that I didn't stand up for Maryada Purushottam Sri Ram and his values. I was one of the many Hindus who was willing to sacrifice the temple at Ayodhya and have a... okay. So this is what you had said. And I agree because I felt the same way.
Guilt tripping that happens against Hindus by Islamists and people of other religions. कि यार इतना तुम लोगों ने किया इतना किया अब ये करना है. It's basically classic guilt tripping.
By who?
By, as I said, by Muslims, by Islamists, because people are overwhelmingly ignorant about what goes on in their minds. They are able to exploit and say, look, we are absolutely pious and pure. You will never hear any discrimination or anything from us. These are the people who've been discriminated against, discriminating. So you are the ones who should be guilty. Classic case.
नहीं तो आप इस्लामिस्ट का नाम लेते हो या who else did you say second?
People of other religion basically.
No, so I am saying this. I again pin the blame on the political dispensation. Why? Because अब आप देखो उसमें push and pull देखो. For example, अभी भी आप ले लो भारत जोड़ो यात्रा. You go to every region and say you are your own people. We believe in federalism. Your identity is your identity, but you call the yatra Bharat Jodo Yatra. So this is a classic pull and push thing which Congress has been using for decades to stay in power. And I mean the dynastic Congress. Same thing happened with the Ram temple also. If you remember जो पहले 48 में whatever 47 में जो हुआ, that then after that it was the Congress government where the doors were open.
Yeah.
86.
Yeah.
That was to placate the Hindus, ironically, because that was right after the Shah Bano judgment.
उसके बाद अरुण नेहरू पे सारा blame कर दिया कि उसकी वजह से.
So if you see, you will find this constantly with them to keep the cracks alive, keep the cracks going, and then say only we can keep this together.
But to come back to your tweet, the reason it got so much of heft also is one, of course, you were absolutely,
honest.
Pardarshi
It
as
takes a
we're
lot
saying
of courage,
that.
by
It
the way,
takes
to say that,
courage to say.
because people from across the fence, both sides.
Yeah.
Of course, overwhelmingly you were trolled by the Darbaris and the leftists.
And
but
by
there were
the-
some right-wingers as well who said, ये तो U-turn मार गया, अब ये देखो.
No, but then what he said is exactly what I felt. I have been going to Ayodhya and reporting for several years. And Ranvir, it is true. And मैंने tweet भी किया हुआ है in one of my visits when I had gone years ago, 10 साल पहले, whatever. The first time that I tweeted from Ayodhya, I've covered before Twitter existed. At that time also, that place was overrun with snakes, scorpions, monkeys. It was so dirty, so filthy. And that place ki किसी ने मुझे बोला कि ये how can you talk like this about that it is dirty and filthy, it is Ram Lala's birthplace. I said जाके देखो ना, बोलने से पहले जाके देखो वो टेंट के अंदर छोटा सा with all these, and the guards out there बेचारी गर्मी में, तपती हुई गर्मी में, in sheds, asbestos sheet sheds में, they were being treated for snake bites, scorpion bites. Poor things doing duty
आपका
out
भी
there.
tweet उठा के
उस टाइम डाल रहे
किया
थे.
था.
And you know what? Because that Ayodhya, now it is so beautiful. It is unrecognizable. That area, they never used to allow garbage trucks to come. उस टाइम ट्रक भी नहीं होता था. That छोटा वाला जो क्या Mazda vans होते ना.
हाँ, right.
Those छोटा vans.
Yes.
Even those were not allowed because of the fear that उसमें explosives अंदर चली जा सकती हैं and they can blow up the Ram Lalla who was in a tent at that time, right? So even garbage trucks were not allowed. So you had open sewage, you had overflowing sewage, you had people living in absolute filth condition and telling us that हम क्या करें? Was it our fault that the Babri Mosque was pulled down? Was it our fault that the Ram Mandir has not been built? हमारी क्या गलती है जो हम यहाँ रह रहे हैं? We can't leave this place because now nobody will buy this area. But what is our fault? And so I was like, build whatever you want to build, but खत्म करो ये dispute यार.
But that's one thing I like about Modi ना. He is ending these long-standing conflicts. अब तुम उसके बाद कोई रोएगा, कोई हंसेगा, वो तो होना ही था कि उस वहां पर क्या बन जाता कि कोई नहीं रोता. पर कुछ अगर आप
Impossible.
मस्जिद बना ले खुद कोई रोता, अगर हॉस्पिटल बना ले कोई रोता, अगर आप मंदिर बना दे कोई रोता. बट ये चैप्टर तो खत्म हो गया ना.
हाँ.
But
Same
he
with-
hasn't done it. Let's be very honest about it.
मतलब आई एम सेइंग व्हाटएवर Supreme Court.
No,
Okay.
the fact of the matter is, had any politician done it, it would never have been accepted.
Correct.
Never. I think I hats off to our people that Supreme Court judgment came and they've accepted.
No,
उसमें
but
भी
they
फर्क
have.
तो पड़ता है ना,
They
जो
have.
आप
They
जो-
have.
जो-
You see
ऐसा
Kashi.
नहीं, हाँ.
No, the work was
How
going
many
on
of
for a
us
long time around
remember
that
our
area.
parents and grandparents telling us about, you know, going to Kashi and going to Varanasi, that those ghats.
Yeah.
It was a new experience. कोई
One
आ रहा है,
huge
कोई खींच रहा है,
improvement.
कोई
I
कर रहा है,
went,
गंदगी. You know, why did we for generations accept and not talk about it, that the places of worship of our country, what is considered most pious to us, are the filthiest.
That's true. And Anand Mahindra said, I don't know if you saw his thing, he narrated some conversation he had with Mr. Modi and why he wants to focus on Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. And for me, that was one of the greatest things that, you know, that for him to come into power and first thing to
Yeah.
start. So I really loved that. And these guys, again, you know, anyway, I don't want to get into Ujo.
No,
So-
but you see, to come back to this, 3 or 4 things that Modi picked up. Hindsight is always 2020, but it's quite incredible. You talked about Swachh Bharat. So he's built 120 million toilets.
Yeah.
Compare that
यार
to
ये इंडिपेंडेंस के बाद इमीडिएट होना चाहिए था ना.
compare that
I
to
agree with you.
Jinnah, who built just one. No, but fact of the
वो मर गया यार बेचारा, उसके
मत
पीछे
करो
अभी
यार
भी
ऐसे
जा रहा है.
बैशिंग मत
Each-
करो, बहुत बुरा हाल है उनका वैसे ही.
each नहीं, पर अब तो प्राइम मिनिस्टर बनने वाला है ना. कौन
कौन
तीनों में से
शाबाश
कौन
शरीफ.
बना?
हाँ.
फिर से.
Poor
But we'll
guy.
come to
अभी
your
भी
pet
dynastic politics, my pet topic.
pet topic. No, but each new toilet made saves the family 52,000 rupees in saving health costs. 52,000 rupees, you know. 110 million tap water connections. Diarrhea, 400,000 Indians used to die 10 years ago of diarrhea. It's been reduced drastically. So there is a cascading effect that people don't realize. You build a toilet, it has a, it's not just building a toilet, yaar, you know.
मैं कह रहा हूँ ये चीजें सब वहीं होनी चाहिए थी. 50s में जैसे ही इंडिपेंडेंस मिली, ये तब होना चाहिए था. पता नहीं तब क्या हो रहा था.
But you say you take these bold stands, Ranveer.
मैं
in the
I
film-
don't try to be bold. I'll be honest with you.
You don't
I
try
try
to
to
be,
be.
but you are-
I just try to be honest.
Well, honesty. देखो ना, in the film industry, as far as social media is concerned, I can't think of anybody more honest. If you want to call that honest and not bold, as honest as you, I can't think of a single person.
Amitabh Bachchan corrects his tweets. That's pretty honest.
T23, T20, T206, or let's not corner poor
But then
Ranveer on this.
here's $1 million or $1 billion question. He is my friend, so I can ask anything to him.
You're not going to ask me what was Mr. Bachchan's last tweet
No,
right?
no. I'm saying, would you be like this on Twitter, as frank and honest, if you were as rich as Amitabh Bachchan or Akshay Kumar or Shah Rukh Khan? That's the question.
I think I would.
You would?
In fact, probably more. Because I don't have to worry about my livelihood anymore. So, I mean,
But then that's the same with them as well. Then why aren't they honest?
I don't know. Ask them.
That's
Yeah.
that's the catch-22. You see, when you become so stratospherically, I don't know whether that's a word or just invented it.
I
rich,
can only think of one reason.
you worry about hundreds of people whom you are
No,
employing.
fear
who
of
are-
losing. Fear
Yeah.
of losing whatever you have. I think that's the only reason I can think of.
So I'm not trying to be disparaging at all. I'm not saying that look, you are like this because. So please don't get me wrong.
No, but
not being
see, like
patronizing.
Swara
But,
Bhaskar, Richa Chadda,
So
they're all very strong positions.
They come to mind and not Akshay Kumar or Shah Rukh Khan or Amir Khan, and you know why? There is a pattern.
I can
there.
only think of one thing, that they're scared of losing what they have.
Yeah.
That's it.
Amitabh Bachchan has a political thing as well. Came from the Congress, fought elections, got
No,
into,
but he swore after his.
after
He nahi karunga.
Yeah,
but
he-
then his wife is from the Samajwadi Party
So
in
you know,
Parliament.
anybody who
There
says
could be
that
a
मैं
whole
नहीं
host
हूँ
of
politics
reasons.
में पर उनकी बीवी बच्चे हैं तो फिर I'm sorry, you are political. You cannot
नहीं
escape
यार,
from
sorry.
the fact.
I was married once. I can tell you, जरूरी नहीं होता. You know, you can, as an individual, you can have separate value. Of course, I don't know how the marriage survives.
But Akshay and Twinkle
So you've
also
been
have.
married only once.
Only once.
Akshay and Twinkle
But I'm
also
open
have
to a
separate-
second one in case you know someone.
They also have separate political ideologies. Akshay Kumar
Twinkle.
and Twinkle Khanna have.
किसी ने कहा ना Times Now and Mirror Now.
That's a good one. But with Jaya Bachchan and Amitabh Bachchan, I just like, coming back to Rahul Gandhi, he's going on and on about Amitabh Bachchan ko dikhaya, Aishwarya Rai ko naachte
that
hue
was
dikha rahe.
cheap, yeah.
Very
She
cheap.
wasn't even
So,
there.
this is one thing I want to say. Earlier, it used to see, before he started this whole caste game that he's now playing out of his desperate bid to, get अब तो इलाज तो कुछ भी लंगोट उतारो type. But before that, I used to give him at least this much कि ठीक है ये कर रहा है मतलब but at least he seems like a nice guy. अब पिछले 2-3 महीने में मेरा वो भी खत्म हो गया. I don't think of him as a nice guy
But
also.
shall I say something? Don't hate him. Because
I'm not
he
hating him. I'm
is
just
a
saying I
mask.
don't think.
No.
He's a mask. When his advisors change, you feel he's changed. Disclaimer:
Shorey-
he's my batchmate.
Who?
Rahul
हाँ,
Gandhi.
Stephens में, हाँ.
But I agree with Ranveer over here. He was never this aggressive earlier.
ये कुछ हुआ है, ये
he
अभी
picked
हुआ है,
up.
ताज़ा
He
ताज़ा
picked
हुआ
up.
है.
I don't know if it is frustration that this yatra
Or some-
No,
has
I'm
not.
telling you, his
Advisors.
Advisors,
tutors
sir.
must have. Rahul, you have to go out there and it should feel like you have.
He
this,
incited a mob to
Yeah,
physically
that was
attack a
scary.
reporter.
Against that reporter?
He
That's
could have
something-
been lynched.
Yeah. And wo,
Crazy.
To a little
you know about that?
nugget, that reporter, Bichara, he's from OBC.
Right.
Okay? Bichara nahi bolna chahiye because Bichara, I'm not saying because he's OBC, I'm saying Bichara because he was beaten up.
Are you sure he was
or
OBC?
roughed up. Yeah,
OBC,
he's
huh?
OBC. But more than that, the channel, he said, तुम्हारा channel का मालिक कौन है? मालिक कौन है?
बोला
You know,
उसको,
in that-
कौन है? नाम
कौन
क्या
है?
उसका?
Do you know who the malik of that channel is?
Who?
A ex-Congress person.
Imagine.
Right, that man made all his life career. Ab uska beta jo hai, he has joined the BJP. But the point is that
Independent. कायदे से
Independent.
देखो ये
हाँ.
राज्यसभा,
मोहब्बत की
हाँ.
दुकान you guys might be falling for it. मेरे को तो तुमको पता है for that brief while when they were in power in Maharashtra the last time.
Yeah. MVA.
I got called
Yeah,
and
you got-
threatened
yes, that's
by a
right.
Congress guy.
Yes.
हाँ, because and मैंने actually कुछ हुआ था कि नेहरू जी was in the photo. There were 3 guys. I had said something about one of the guys in the photo to some troll, and Nehru ji just happened to be in the photo.
हाँ.
So नहीं इसको निकालो. मैं कहा नीचे लिखा हुआ है उसके कि it's not for Nehru, it's for the other guy in the photo. नहीं, तुमको पता है आज़ादी दिलाई. And then they secretly recorded it. Then they put it on their social media post saying, see what we have done. We have threatened this actor and got him to delete the tweet. How big goons we are.
Oh, you were doxed, huh?
Docs तो मेरा तो है. मेरे तो secret कुछ है ही नहीं भाई. सब बाहर ही लटका हुआ है.
No, but you were forced to delete it.
Yeah, I deleted it. He called me and I said, okay, I can understand why it can be misinterpreted. I'll delete it. In spite of that, he went on threatening me, and I was wondering why. Then I found out later because they were secretly recording the phone call, and then they did some heavy edit job on it to trying to make me look like, and it still didn't work because I wasn't intimidated. Anyway, my point is ये मोहब्बत की दुकान and all
But
you
it's
guys might be.
become very
आज मेरे को किसी ने बोला है कुछ
vitiated.
सरकार आने दे हम तेरे को दिखाएंगे.
हाँ,
कांग्रेसी ने
बहुत,
मेरे को बोला.
बहुत.
And I said what?
100%,
So summary executions as soon as
Yeah.
he's PM. So ये मोहब्बत की दुकान है, सब fraud है, सबको पता है. People who put emergency should not use slogans like मोहब्बत की दुकान.
But Ranveer, coming back to the film industry, do people lose out on projects because of the political stand that they take?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
So would Swara Bhaskar or Richa Chadha lose projects?
No, I would.
Yeah.
They're on the right side of the fence.
This is I think what there's a definition for this as well. So if in a right wing organization, the right wingers will give a chance to the left wingers, but in a left wing organization, you don't give a chance to the other side. Yeah, right wingers do this.
They
यार,
deny it, of course. The left wing will
70
deny.
साल की
There's a principle,
indoctrination
I
है
forget.
लेफ्ट की और कांग्रेस की इस देश में. So don't forget that.
They are ruthless.
Indoctrination is very deep. You cannot get people to see simple cause effect reason just because the mind is.
No, but Smita, they're
Have
so
you-
open. Who was that ex-ambassador, Mr. Casey Singh?
Yeah.
He said there should be a summary like a Nuremberg's
Yes,
kind
a
of
list
Didn't he say
trial,
that?
yes.
A list
For what?
trials
For what?
for all the journalists, current journalists.
Oh.
And this is
They are-
many people have
they are
said
very
this.
open about
Not
it.
just him.
Yeah.
Many people have.
Yeah.
And all because the political,
Yeah.
landscape has changed. Just because of that. So I'm saying this is what my broad understanding is at that time there were these in the politics within India there were these groups which had which were the main what is it called stakeholders. Muslim League tha, Congress of course the largest, Jan Sangh, the left.
हाँ.
मुस्लिम लीग को पाकिस्तान बांग्लादेश मिला वो थोड़े कम हो गए whatever around the I think 50s or 60s maybe the left got co-opted by Congress to stay in power. I think it was around the 60s. So basically बचा कौन? Only political rival was the Jan Sangh.
Yeah.
That is why उनको सावरकर चुपता है. That is why the slur संघी.
Yeah.
This is part of that. What I'm trying to say is that in this 60-70 year indoctrination by the Congress and by the left together, whatever Congress more left for the half the period, it's not easy to get through to people for simple reason कि भाई ये देख ले ये 2 + 2 4 no ये 2 क्यों कहा ये 2 नहीं हो सकता.
Ranvir, इसके भी ना there are two sides to this. While you're right, our generation, not to give away our ages, you're absolutely right. But it's been 10 years and that's almost half a generation being taught through textbooks. That could have been changed, that could have told the truth. So there is blame to be put on this government as well.
Not as much as the other. I'll tell you why. पहली
These
बार
guys are saying we are proud to have not changed even a full
अरे
stop.
यार,
Yeah.
you're still going with जावड़ेकर.
क्या करें?
मुझे कब था वो जावड़ेकर हुए थे फर्स्ट
Change नहीं
टर्म
है.
के फर्स्ट
अभी भी बख्तियारपुर है स्टेशन का नाम.
I understand.
अभी भी टीपू सुल्तान जयंती मनाते हैं और लोग चुप रहते हैं. अभी भी चादर चढ़ाई जाती है अजमेर शरीफ
no,
पे.
but I complete-
अभी भी सेंट फ्रांसिस जेवियर पे. What has changed? Tell me ना.
I understand why it is like that. Because मैंने फिर अगेन मैं कह रहा हूँ 60-70 साल का जो मोमेंटम है ना
हाँ.
उसको तुम अगर झटके से ऐसे करने की कोशिश करो you
Push back.
whole thing will fall on over you.
Correct.
It has to be done in a
Yeah.
whatever
Phased manner.
Agreed.
and bottom layer से शुरू करके up you have to do it. It can't.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Sorry, just coming in. You're asking, isn't it what you're asking for these immediate changes? You're asking कि curriculum, education में change
Yes,
लाओ.
yes.
You're saying हमारे the जो हम जयंती celebrate करते हैं उस पे change लाओ.
Yes.
Places of worship पे जो change लाओ, है ना? ये एक किस्म, isn't this like he said, tactical overreach?
No, but tell me one thing.
Go on the small
if
things.
what is wrong, what is the harm in correcting it immediately? You tell me if there is a Hitler Road in Tel Aviv, somebody says that shouldn't be there. Are you saying time से 10-15 साल रुक जाओ तेल अवीव में लोगों को देखने दो थोड़े protest? Are you saying that?
No, but this is not a fair.
it's
This
not.
is
Why?
not a fair comparison.
Aurangzeb, there is still Babar Road
No,
right
no,
now in Delhi.
Hear me
Stone's
out.
throw from here.
No, hear me out. Why I am saying that? अगर इजराइल में एक ऐसी सरकार होती which was trying to live with peace with Nazis, और फिर हिटलर की होती, then you tried doing it, it would have never worked. Because that half that other population will say, how dare you touch?
और हमास के लिए इन्होंने कितना किया इजराइल ने, हम ये भूल रहे हैं दैट गाजा में सारे अंडरग्राउंड टनल्स वगैरह सिर्फ उन्होंने नहीं बनाया, हमास ने नहीं बनाया.
No, Israel helped them, yeah.
या इजराइल
They
हेल्प
funded them
बिकॉज
also in
एट
the
दैट टाइम पैलेस्टीनियंस को हटाने के लिए अराफत की पूरी टीम को उड़ाने के लिए हमास को प्रॉप अप किया. अब हमास इज विलन. सो द पॉइंट इज दैट यू नो दीज विलन्स विल कीप चेंजिंग एंड अगर हम रेवोल्यूशनरी चेंजेस लाएंगे ना तो मुश्किल भी होता है. एंड it isn't slow change. After all, what has happened today, what we are seeing, whether it is in Kashi, whether we have seen in Ayodhya, it's brick by brick. But to reach the state or 370 or talaq, triple talaq, these are momentous changes which have come in. You know, I'm not trying to say that in लोगों ने
And the
too
impending-
slow है
yeah.
या too fast है, but at somewhere they have to see to it that it doesn't cause a social upheaval
Yeah.
to such a manner.
Yeah, which is
that it-
unmanageable, yeah.
Unmanageable. Somewhere.
I think if they do bring this something like the UCC bill, you're talking about a momentous change over there to have a civil code.
Although I do think time is right for UCC.
Of course.
Time was right 40 years ago.
मतलब I'm saying
But the
now,
people
so
want,
this
no?
new government.
See, CAA.
So I'm
CAA as well,
a
but
bit.
UCC is also-
I have a different opinion. I don't believe that there should be a time, right or wrong, if what you're doing is morally and ethically just.
नहीं सर, ये
बहुत
बुरा मत
absolutist
मानिए,
है।
बट हमारे
Totally black and white.
आपकी और मेरी तरह यहाँ बैठ के करना आसान है, जिसको एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन करनी है ना, उसके लिए इतना सिंपल नहीं होता.
हाँ.
He has to manage.
Then Ranvir, you will rationalize everything. Yeah?
No, I won't. As long as the direction, speed is not important, direction is. What speed we are going, I can live with. What direction we are going in is more important.
Yeah, let's talk about एक तो मैं पाकिस्तान पे आऊंगी,
Yes.
but more than anything, since he mentioned Punjab, let's talk about Punjab, right? I mean, it's as if the BJP has given up on Punjab. Like one state where they feel, even Bengal में लड़ने को तैयार है, Punjab they've just given up. ना अकालियों के साथ बना रहे हैं, ना they've just like okay, let go.
I can't for the life of me understand why.
हाँ.
I really can't.
भाई मेरा तो ये है, मैं तो बीजेपी सपोर्टर ऐसा कुछ हूँ नहीं. I have faith in Modi. So why Modi is not doing anything, I am willing to
It's a
participate.
frontier state.
But BJP से तो मेरे को कभी, I have never been
Yeah, true.
मेरे को I trust this guy, I trust the BJP under this guy because you know, I don't know if you guys have read my other tweet about, I don't know if you've read this tweet where I say that doesn't matter what ideology, because people, you know, on Twitter the keyword is तेरी ideology क्या है, ideology क्या है, ये चलता रहता है. I'm like, I don't care what ideology, because कोई भी ideology has to be executed by human beings and human beings are flawed. So when you have a good guy, no matter what the ideology, and he's making it work for the people of the country, support him.
Yes.
Instead of a party or an ideology.
Yeah.
So right now I think Mr. Modi is a good person in the right office, and that is why I support him.
अब
Simple
मैं
as
एक
that.
सवाल पूछने वाला हूँ
बोलिए.
जो आप rationalize करोगे कि नहीं, I don't know. So 5 or 6 years ago, Modi said that the guy who perpetrated the other scam
I know,
should be arrested.
Chavan, yeah.
3-4 months ago, he said one of the most corrupt guy who perpetrated 70,000 crore scam is corruption ki wo this thing. Both of them he inducted in BJP.
I know. Yeah.
Madhu
You just
Koda's
said
wife
good
is
guy.
Today, Madhu Koda's
Madhu,
wife is-
I'm saying-
Madhu Koda's wife is probably joining.
Has joined.
Has
But
joined
I-
already.
I-
Kirit Somoya,
But I'm thinking this is
Somaya
a BJP
were BJP
thing.
guy. Oh,
Pawar.
come on.
I'm thinking this is a
This
BJP
wouldn't have
thing.
happened without his nod. Modi's nod. Come on, Ranvir.
I think
Come on.
it's the means justify the end. I think that is the
Wait,
ideology.
But anyway, I have again just to I have already written against it. So
That's not the point.
So
Of
मैं-
course,
मैं क्या
I'm
बोलूं?
not saying
I'm
you are
not-
condoning corruption. That's
no,
not.
no,
What
I'm
I'm
not
saying
for
is
it.
when you say that Modi, I support
nobody's
Modi.
perfect. Nobody's perfect, including
अब ये
Modi,
आपने rationalize कर
including
लिया.
me. Nobody's perfect.
And also, you know, there comes a time where I think.
So maybe I'm
everybody's
just
on-
too black and white.
कि winnability factor होनी
नहीं
है.
अच्छा है ना,
इन्होंने-
moral compass तो मिलता है.
इन्होंने 300 पार करना है. So in that 300 पार and also
इनके ये चक्कर करेंगे ना, इनके ये 370 की जगह 270 हो जाएंगे.
वो ये बहुत बड़ा खतरा है.
इनको पता नहीं है.
Honestly.
So they can't claim to say that they're ideologically ये हमारा ideology है,
Yeah.
this is what we follow, and our actions and seat allocations are based on that ideology. No, your ideology is winning. That has to be
Yeah.
made
सबका
clear.
यही है सर. क्या पॉलिटिक्स, क्या
Yeah.
फिल्म इंडस्ट्री, सबका ये.
तो
नथिंग
रणवीर,
सक्सीड्स लाइक
फिर
सक्सेस.
Box
वो-
office.
फिर वो क्वेश्चन है ना, तो फिर मोदी को आपने वो क्यों कह दिया? I am supporting Modi, is a good guy.
I mean, that's what I'm not saying because I know Modi. I'm
course.
just saying because what I see him do. For example, 370. For example, ये जो अभी Ram Temple. I see him have the courage to long-standing conflicts को खत्म करना, which itself is a huge thing for this country, यार.
अच्छा रणवीर, when you are हम लोग तो because we live in Delhi, हम तो थोड़ा hyper political हो ही जाते हैं. बिहार and Delhi, I think, are the two most hyper political.
Totally.
Tell me about Mumbai. When you are with your colleagues in the Bombay film industry, are they interested in the same level that you are interested in politics?
Some of them are, yeah.
Huh.
Some of them are, a lot of them are not.
Huh. And
But
at
some-
workplace, does it interfere in any manner? I know JNU में where you are, it's a big issue. Huh? So, but is it the same in the Bombay film industry?
Big issue, matlab, I don't think so. I don't think it gets in the way of if you're working together. Like, for example, I have some of my closest friends are, left-leaning.
Huh.
And, I get lectured and, spoken down to about my stands and all, and I defend them. But the close friends that I have lost some friends, by the way, since 2019 when I kind of put out a video which was, because, all these guys got together and they put out this list of people who had said don't vote for, make sure you vote and don't vote for BJP. तो मैंने एक छोटा वीडियो बनाया था कि यार ये मतलब ये क्या बात हुई कि वोट करो बट तो बता क्यों रहे हो किसको वोट करना, लेट पीपल डिसाइड ना. तो वो मैंने हैशटैग बनाया था कि योर पता नहीं क्या था, योर वोट योर थिंग व्हाटएवर
ढूंढती हूँ मैं.
सो द पॉइंट बीइंग के
आपने किसी को इंडोर्स नहीं किया था?
नहीं, डायरेक्ट इंडोर्स मैं कभी नहीं करूंगा किसी पार्टी को इंडोर्स नहीं. आई एम नॉट स्टैंड फॉर एनी पार्टी भाई. कोई जो अच्छा काम कर रहा है आदमी उसको अच्छा बोल दो, जो अच्छा नहीं कर रहा उसको ना अच्छा बोल दो, जो अच्छा कर रहा है वो भी जब गलत करे उसको भी बोल दो कि तू गलत कर रहा है. That's as a
So
citizen.
here's a question: Can
as
you
a
name
citizen,
one
that's it.
Congress leader who's doing good work?
सोचना पड़ेगा.
Time लग रहा है.
सोचना
No,
पड़ेगा.
but आपने endorse किया तो. At one point of time, I remember you. I think you took
think
a
Milind
placard.
Diora.
No,
Milind
you
Diora.
took a placard for Aam Aadmi Party,
It
didn't
was
you?
2014.
छोड़ दिया
हाँ.
भाई उन्होंने.
अच्छा, आम आदमी.
क्या हुआ उधर उस
So
टाइम?
2014 में तो I was there when me Anupam ji अपना what's his name
India against corruption.
IAC के टाइम पे जब वो पार्टी बना, I was one of the people who said के पार्टी बनाओ.
हाँ.
So 2014, because by then BJP that time seemed to me like a party which had accepted and that it and relegated itself to being the principal opposition party and ruling some states. वो लगता नहीं था कि उनमें गुदा है to change this. बिकॉज इनकी तो एरोगेंस इतनी हो चुकी थी तब 2014 में. आज की जनरेशन को तो पता नहीं है. 2014 में हमको याद है ना कांग्रेस की क्या एरोगेंस थी जब आईएसी की वो चल रही थी, प्रोटेस्ट चल रही थी, निर्भय का वो जो हुआ था.
Delhi was under siege.
नहीं यार, नॉट द कंट्री, वी वर लाइक एज अ सिटीजन यू वर फीलिंग लाइक बहुत हो गया, यू नो, कि ये जनरेशन आफ्टर जनरेशन द सेम पावर सेंटर एंड द एरोगेंस दैट दे वर थ्रोइंग अराउंड. So anyway, तब लगता नहीं था कि BJP is going to be able to do anything. And so
I think small correction, you're talking about 2011, before Modi came onto the national scene. That was the time when
नहीं मैं कह रहा हूँ 2011-12 we started IAC and all, but 2014 में I was actually canvassing for Aam Aadmi Party.
अच्छा.
So I was not, and then Modi won. So that's where it
लाना
started.
चप्पल लाना जरा पिटाई. You know,
आप तो कह रहे थे आप BJP supporter, Modi supporter नहीं है.
No, I'm a Nota voter, but I thought
cop out है यार.
नहीं.
ये Nota is cop out.
नहीं,
Sorry,
नहीं.
not taking
I have
responsibility.
written about this also, but
Complete cop out.
No, but
why
just
you
to
angry?
finish the
हाँ,
story.
बोलो.
So he was pro Kejriwal, supporting him in the sense that, you know, अच्छा होना चाहिए. तो मैंने भी कहा इसको चांस देना चाहिए. तो मैंने अपनी बीवी से कहा प्लीज वोट फॉर केजरीवाल. अभी तक वो
यार वोट भी खुद नहीं कर सकते, वो भी बीवी को. मतलब हद होती है पेट्रियार्की की यार.
Good one, Ranvir.
you've taken it to another angle.
So anyway 2014 में ये हो रहा था. Then मोदी came into power and suddenly मैं देखता हूँ कि ये not my prime minister, ये सब शुरू हो गया. मैं बोला यार अभी तो आया है,
हाँ.
करने तो दे कुछ. फिर ये चला.
On that day, Manishankar Iyer wrote next day article 2014 fascism, beginning of fascism.
तो मैं कह रहा हूँ यार कहाँ दिख तो नहीं रहा कुछ, अभी तो आया है. तो ये करते करते मेरा मतलब ना आई स्टार्टेड बीइंग यार ये कैसे लोग हैं. फिर 2019 आ गया तो ये लोग बोल रहे हैं कि नहीं वापस चलो उधर वही पार्टी के पास, वही डायनेस्टी के पास. मैं बोला बॉस ये तो नहीं होने वाला. ये नहीं चलेगा. So then, you know, I had put on your vote, you decide who you want to kind of thing. And again, because all these guys had gotten together, intellectuals and actors and actresses had gotten together and created this list of 50 people. So 2019 में I wanted him to have a second term because I thought, you know, he's doing some stuff and going back is not, doesn't seem like feasible to me. अब 2024 है. अब so मैं मोदी का काम देख के मोदी को सपोर्ट कर रहा हूँ. मैं कोई पहले सोच के नहीं है, मैं कोई मतलब मेरे को कोई जेब में पैसे नहीं डाले हुए कि जो यू नो के मोदी को प्रचार करो. मेरे को जो एज अ सिटीजन 2014 से 2024 स्लोली आई हैव माय faith in Modi has increased. It was not always there.
Yeah. But there are so many people from the film industry I've seen who get trolled so much because they were like, you were not in favor of BJP and now you have gone to, what is it, LKM, जो race course road, PM का घर. Those who went out there, they got trolled so much that, you know, you were in... It's okay for somebody to change their mind. Why is this thing that that you cannot change your mind.
Because
If
these
somebody-
people have
नहीं,
normalized
but why are you
fascism.
changing your
Are
mind
you,
matters
are
ना?
you condoning
Yeah.
Nitish
No,
Kumar?
why?
No, the film industry, I'm
अच्छा,
saying, वो
अच्छा.
जो चले गए थे मोदी जी के यहाँ, it was like, you know, that how dare you go
Yeah.
to
Those selfies they took.
The selfies.
the
that's
selfies, right? How dare you take selfies with a person who was branded as fascist? How can you go there? You know, so
No,
नहीं, but
actors
depends
called
किसका
him a
reason भी है ना?
murderer also.
किसका क्या
Yes,
reason है?
I remember in that Shekhar Gupta used to walk the talk. There was an actor, very famous actor. He called him murderer and all sorts
Amir,
of
I
things.
think.
Yeah, that's right.
yeah,
Yeah,
but
that's right.
yeah,
Because that time, that was the यार, I mean, you know,
वही zeitgeist की बात होगी ना, उस समय यही था
यही माहौल बनाया हुआ था
political
इन्होंने.
situation.
अब जाके समझ में आता है क्यों बनाया होगा, क्योंकि दिखता होगा कि ये तो you know बच्चे की गई गद्दी अगर ये आ
and
गया तो.
also there are many people, I'm convinced of this, who have these handlers who say that interview में जाने से पहले आप ये कह दो, आप बात करने से. I've just convinced of this, that in the film industry, those who are not politically with it or those who are not social media, उनके जो हैंडलर्स होते हैं ना, वो बहुत कुछ बोल देते हैं कि ये आप ऐसे करो. लाइक वी वर टॉकिंग कि राहुल गांधी को ही बार बार बोले जा रहा है that there was no Dalit, there was no पिछड़ा.
You nailed it on you know you hit it on the head. When I see Rahul Gandhi, it reminds me of a Star Kid. It reminds me of a Star Kid launch with, of course, at a national scale, much bigger budgets and much bigger role. But it reminds me of a typical of how a Star Kid is launched. Entitled and again. मतलब एक पहली पिक्चर फ्लॉप, दूसरी के साथ 300 करोड़, 400 करोड़ लगा, किसी तरह से बच्चे को स्टार बनाना है. This reminds me of that.
Tell us about that whole Sushant Singh Rajput case. I know I'm going to get trolled. मैं कुछ भी बोलूँ Sushant Singh Rajput पे, यहाँ पे trolling हो जाती है. But I just want to know, because you were close to him.
I wouldn't say close, but I mean we
Oh,
were
you
friends.
worked together.
We worked together. We
Yeah.
were friends. He's been home few times, and we actually got along quite well at the shoot, which was I think at least a 2-month shoot, 2-month shoot, Son Chidiya. And we bonded actually on physics because both of us love physics. So you know, a lot of conversations on that. I remember हम लोग shoot कर रहे थे वहाँ पे, तो एक eclipse हुआ था. Lunar eclipse था and Saturn was lining up उसके पीछे. He flew down his big telescope from Bombay just for that. And वहाँ पे हम धौलपुर में जहाँ हम शूट कर रहे थे, गार्डन में इतना बड़ा उसने टेलीस्कोप लगवाया, सबको बुलाया, ड्रिंक्स, you know, cocktails and snacks and all. रात को हम लोग, and that's the only time I've actually looked through a telescope and seen straight. तीन थे, Moon, Jupiter, Saturn lining up. With my own eye. And I'm telling you, the feeling of seeing it through your eye, through a telescope, is very different from looking at it at a screen. There's something, I don't know what it is, it's a different quality of experience. So anyway, I mean, fond memories.
Did you empathize with him? Did you realize that the struggle that he was going through at that period of time is something that you have gone through too? Similar kind of challenges?
What I heard after his death, the kind of stories that were going around, that he was going through this, you know, he was being isolated and bad-mouthed, and, you know, that I've been through. With certain names involved, you know.
You've spoken about it, about the Bhatts.
Yeah. So I had great regard for Mr. Bhatt till the fiasco happened when I
With
was
Pooja.
seeing his daughter. Yeah. And then I saw that actually, you know, whatever respect I had for him was being used to manipulate me, you know, very duplicitous behavior going on. And then this thing happened with Sushant a couple of years later, and then I felt like I had to speak out. So yeah, but all this is, you ask anybody from the film industry, anybody, most of them will say it off record. You know, I can say it on record. I have no problem. This fully happens. You know, ganging up against someone, elbowing them out, standing on somebody's toes, scuttling somebody's career. ये सब होता है. ये तो fact है.
Yeah, so this is what, you know, like I've interviewed a couple of film stars.
Politics में भी होता होगा.
हाँ. It's not politics में होता है,
Corporate में भी होता होगा, आपके media में भी होता होगा.
Media में भी होता है. So you know what happens is that what you see, but what happens is हमारे media में भी होता है. but it is not couched in glamour and beauty. You know, in film industry, it all looks so beautiful. But
This part is not. This part is not glamorous.
There is a non-glamorous part which nobody gets to see, other than a couple of films which have been made on it. You know, it's like, I don't know,
Page 3 was made
we
on
were
it.
not allowed to read film magazines in our house when we were growing up. वो चोरी छिपके
Oh,
कहीं से पढ़ लिया.
Mostly I would read with one hand.
हाँ, Stardust.
Sorry, please cut that.
No, keep on going.
अच्छा.
वो Stardust, Star and
He's like,
Style.
I empathize
he's like,
with
I
you.
just got my scoop.
नहीं हम scroll
You know
करते
what I
थे,
mean.
हम scroll करते थे पढ़ते थे.
पर इनके जनरेशन में सब कुछ फ्री हो गया था
I
बॉस. हमारे जनरेशन में
ये
प्रिंटेड
कौन से
वर्ड
फिल्म
होता था.
मैगजीन के पैसे दे रहे थे?
अच्छा यूज वाले इस्तेमाल.
Oh my God, look at this, please.
ये डेंटिस्ट की दुकान का बात कर रहे हैं भाई. ही इज अ मैन ऑफ साइंस प्लीज.
मैन ऑफ साइंस ही करते हैं ये चीजें. मैन ऑफ साइंस.
तो
मॉर्निंग
उसमें-
शो में बहुत डंडे खाए हमने सुबह सुबह जाके 9 बजे. माई चेक एंड फ्रेंच, आई वॉज वेरी फ्लुएंट इन चेक, फ्रेंच, ऑल दीज लैंग्वेजेस यार. लोगों ने कहा कैसे क्लासेस लेते हो? मैंने मॉर्निंग शो जाते हैं.
ये पता है ये दिस इज नाउ गोइंग टू बिकम इतने नंबर्स आएंगे ना
अरे
इस podcast ऑफ अ डिफरेंट काइंड
ये
ऑफ
ये प्रोमो में डालेंगे.
रेशमा की जवानी.
देयर वाज एक्चुअली अ मूवी कॉल्ड
ऑफ कोर्स, यस.
Yeah.
कौन था उसमें?
बताओ भाई.
रेशमा कौन थी?
सिल्क स्मिता.
नॉट अलाउड टू बी सेड. मेरी चाइल्डहुड रुइन हुई है वो नाम
She is
से.
Smita with a
Now,
TH.
now you're going to imitate Hema Malini. I know it's just coming.
that Silk Smita, when she came on the scene, my teen years were ruined because of that. And the poor thing, she passed away when, you know,
Don't
she
tell me.
she committed suicide or something. I mean,
Oh my God,
she
I'm-
passed, yeah. But
so sorry.
But during that period, there was Nylon Nalini, there was Rayon Ragini. You know, take off on Silk
तुम लोगों के
Smita.
शौक बड़े डाउन मार्केट हैं.
तुम कौन से?
मैं अर्विंग वॉलिस की किताब में पीसेस ढूंढता.
Yeah,
Sydney Sheldon.
Sydney Sheldon. I was about to say Sydney Sheldon.
सिडनी शेल्डन भी.
हाँ, Sydney Sheldon was considered, I mean, such a deprived
But
childhood.
it was an amazing generation, you know. I mean, we grew up reading. We were very
Yeah,
good readers.
readers.
Yeah. Confessions of a Barmaid,
अब
volume
तो
6.
होता ही नहीं है
all
रीडिंग.
I was seeing Bill Maher's show in which there was a author who came in, and she said that the youngest, she had these various generations, that today in our world we have 6 generations alive. There are 6, so she had divided it into various categories: millennials, pre-millennials, boomer, ye wo karke. And today's generation, the youngest ones who are now in pre-teen age group, whatever they're called, I don't know, X भी नहीं है.
नहीं, एक्स तो मैं हूँ भाई.
हाँ, X आप हो.
Generation Xers.
नहीं,
No,
नहीं,
you are
उसके
Generation
बाद
X.
I'm
is-
X.
Yeah.
So अब है
I'm
Zoomers.
अब मिलेनियल्स के
boomer.
बाद वाली जो है.
Zoomers.
I think Zoomers है.
जो भी
I don't
youngest
know,
है.
whatever. Generation
So the
Z.
X ones are the best, I believe, because they are the ones who have benefited from education
Gen X,
and
yeah.
upward mobility because of economies doing well, as compared to us boomers who were like first television, first car, और वो
No, I disagree
दूरदर्शन.
completely. You guys got to own property. Millennials are
No,
the
no,
ones who
we
got
didn't
screwed,
get
yaar.
to own property. What are you
No,
talking? We
boomers
grew up
got
in
property.
when abject
Millennials are the one who can't. Yeah, it's very
But
difficult.
you don't want to own property.
Says
अब
who?
तो- Of course.
नहीं, you
खुद
people
ही
have
बोलते
all
हैं.
gone-
खुद बोलते हैं. They're proud of
हाँ.
not owning it. तो
Yeah,
rent पे
so
रह रहे
it's a
हैं.
different. So the youngest.
We are part of the consumption economy, na? Our EMIs, our subscriptions take over our actual asset
भाई
creation.
कंजम्पशन हमारे टाइम पे थी नहीं, पनीर तक नहीं मिलता था, कंजम्पशन था ही
तो
नहीं.
इसलिए आप asset create कर पाते
तो
थे.
हाँ, okay, so you can
know what I mean?
You can look at that, but we were coming back to the reading thing. So the current teens and pre-teens, because of social media, the book, those who read a book, 12% in America.
Alpha.
हाँ,
this is
Generation
gener-
Alpha.
Generation Alpha, which people have. It was 40% in the earlier generation.
Just 12.
It's just 12% in America. So there's that to see. But we are not that bad. I'm convinced of this. Even though you see everybody on social media. Because just the other day, Ranveer, I was driving past the World Book Fair. मुझे पता भी नहीं था World Book Fair है. World Book Fair चल रहा था. लोग लाइन में खड़े थे to enter with children in tow. To where in the world will you see thousands? I saw thousands, not hundreds, at various entry points to enter a World Book Fair. And clearly it looked like, you know, they are going to be saving up to buy those books for their kids. The kids can read it online thanks to Mota Bhai. Social media is cheap. You internet पे पढ़ सकते हो तुम, Kindle download कर सकते हो तुम. But in spite of that, they are buying books, brick and mortar. So I somehow have more faith in our younger generation than the complete abdication of faith in the that the Americans have on their youngest generation. ये पढ़ते हैं यार. People are reading.
And I mean,
And books.
Books.
And books, yeah. No, I mean, just
तो
to,
अच्छी बात
I'm
है,
not
you know.
plugging
Yeah.
You
what
read
has
an
happened, but
excellent
I've,
book,
yeah, I
yeah.
mean, I've,
Yeah.
so my fifth book, I'm just going to talk about, but before that, 4 or at least 3 books, they sank with a trace detected only by near and dear ones.
I got
मतलब-
2 of them as Diwali gift.
No, but I have bought each and every one. Which one have I not bought?
I think the first one, Land of the Wilted Rose.
हाँ, वो नहीं
We did,
Fiction
हाँ,
वाली जो
I'll
थी.
present that
Fiction.
to you.
नहीं नहीं मैं खरीदूंगा, आप क्यों
नहीं
दोगे?
नहीं वो इट्स आउट ऑफ
Out of
मैं
print
आपको
है।
99 कॉपीज हैं, 98 मेरे पास रह जाएंगी, एक आपको दे दूंगा. But now the current one, it's been exactly 6 months, 62,000 copies have been sold there.
Well done.
No, it's not so it's taken me by surprise because I used to think at least a year ago it's a complete audio visual generation now. No one's interested in the written word.
But Anand, also
अच्छा, I have
people have
another-
seen you on TV. So
Maybe-
वो
maybe.
cross fertilization
Connection.
of the viewers and readers
But
वो
it's-
भी चलता है.
No, I also
I have
feel,
another theory.
Go on.
Video is the new writing.
Yes.
So we are actually from Shruti we came to Smruti. We now see a return to Shruti, where learning is actually somebody.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I'm just saying
वाह.
that was a thought, है ना? Profound है ना? मुझे भी लगा था यार ये क्या बोल दिया मैंने? क्या? ना video is the new writing, भाई.
Also, a new crop of authors have come out.
Yes.
You know, it's a sort of resurgence of this, talking about a history of forgotten history of India. एक इतिहास जो भूल चुके थे, that has come out again.
भूल नहीं
Sanjeev-
चुके थे बहुत.
अभी विक्रम की काशी पे आ रही है. मीनाक्षी जैन has written
Yeah.
so much on
नहीं और
Jatra.
भूल नहीं चुके थे. I see the
Sai.
thing is lot of this ना, lot of the संघी
literature.
literature narrative बोलो narrative survived at home. Because institutions में तो because of the political dispensation
गीता पे
वो एक
How
तरफ
thoughtful
एक
of you.
तरह का था वो.
ये लो.
बट घर में ये कहानियां शिवाजी की कहानियां हो, महाराणा
Puranic.
प्रताप की
Yeah.
कहानियां हो, पुरानिक स्टोरीज हो, ये they stayed alive in the homes. Now we see that finally okay in politically also
Let's talk about it,
हाँ,
yeah.
इसीलिए इनको समझ में इनके तोते इसलिए उड़े हुए हैं. इनको समझ में नहीं आ रहा कि ये क्या कनेक्ट है. They don't realize ये कोई कनेक्ट नया नहीं है, ये बहुत पुराना है.
But तारे जुड़ना भी it's a big thing, right?
हाँ, बिल्कुल.
To connect
अति
those.
और इनकी भी गलती है कि इन्होंने अति कर अपीजमेंट में अगर ये अति नहीं करते तो ये शायद नहीं होता. दे वेंट इन अति का बोलते हैं ना, हमारे तो कल्चर में ही कहा जाता है कि अति का व्हाट इज द फुल थिंग, अति का अंत व्हाटएवर अच्छा बुरा होता है व्हाटएवर. सो दिस इज जस्ट दैट दे वेंट ओवरबोर्ड के जनरेशन आफ्टर जनरेशन टू स्टे इन पावर. अपीजमेंट के इतने गियर चला दिए कि खुद ही नहीं याद रहा कि क्या क्या चालू किया हुआ है.
No, they ceded the whole education domain to the left. It was a very pointed,
To co opt
calculated
them
thing.
politically.
Not just that. I think
To
the
co-opt
left.
their arguments.
नहीं
So,
भाई
Rumila
numbers
Thapar was
numbers
also needed.
numbers
Irfan Habib,
Yes.
I mean the
Yeah.
numbers ईशान numbers not for just के आप not to के ideas के लिए नहीं. They don't care about ideas. This is I am saying for political power.
Of course.
Let's talk about the entertainment industry, like what we have said about books. Do you think that the coming of OTT has also been more democratization
Yes. Huge difference.
of narratives and things, of movies,
Narratives
art,
तो नहीं मुझे पता.
whatever art?
So here is
जो फिल्में बन रही हैं और जो shows बन रहे हैं, like Sacred Games where you've acted, right? Could you have imagined that happening in theaters as in
No.
how many?
So this is where what I feel about OTT is like पहले क्या होता था, because the theatrical system is controlled by it's a closed room, it's a closed group controlled by some people. Therefore this thing used to happen कि फिल्म बनाओ तुम shows ही नहीं मिलेंगे, यहाँ मिलेगा तो एक सुबह का show गया. So with OTT now streaming platforms it works as a like a pressure cooker का safety valve होता है ना, it's like that. Which is that at least now you have some other way for filmmakers, actors, writers to reach the audience. अब वो बात और है कि उसमें भी वो same biggies will try to control that also, वो भी होगा. But OTT by its nature is very different because theaters you have fixed number of theaters, fixed number of shows, right? And streaming में ऐसा नहीं है. You can have infinite number of shows, infinite number of things playing there, and it depends on the audience what they go for. So by its nature, it is more democratizing.
But the producer gets a one-time payment from the OTT.
Depends what deal you make. So कभी वो जो होता है 5 साल की लीज या उस पे जो क्या अवार्ड होता है उस पे देते हैं. It depends. Different people have different deals.
But I have a grouse यार with
What?
Sacred Games. Why did you leave it at a cliffhanger यार?
यार ये उनको पूछो आप, वरुण ग्रोवर को, अनुराग को, उनको पूछो. वो लेखक हैं. मैं तो
Third season आया ही नहीं.
थर्ड.
Third हाँ.
नहीं, थर्ड नहीं आया और मुझे लगता है आएगा भी नहीं.
So you left us with कि वो बम फटा कि नहीं फटा.
सोचो.
But that's where the book also
It's not
ends.
the
no?
Sopranos यार. It went black. कुछ तो आगे होना चाहिए था. That really.
वो तो मेरी किस्मत ही ऐसी है. मेरे तो और भी शोज हैं जो ऐसे हाई you seen High on MX?
No, I haven't.
Serious, nice show. उसका भी यही हुआ है.
Right at the top they leave you.
Anyway, this is तो.
No, but to come back to it, it's like even if the big guys are there, people, this boycott culture जो होता है ना, you boycott in the film, वो OTT पे चला जाएगा, बंदा OTT पे चला जाएगा. You know, you can't keep talent down anymore. I feel कोई ना कोई they will spot you, isn't it?
नहीं, अब तो why just OTT? अब तो तुम you just have a phone, you can go get on Insta, YouTube, you can create whatever you want.
जैसे TikTok होता था पहले.
TikTok तो वो भी है अब तो. So that's why I keep saying ना, video is the new writing, which is that हर चीज, जैसे को आप ब्लॉग लिखते हो उसका इक्विवेलेंट भी आपको वीडियो में दिखेगा. आप शॉर्ट स्टोरीज लिखते हो उसका इक्विवेलेंट आपको वीडियो में दिखेगा. आप नॉवल लिखते हो उसका इक्विवेलेंट भी आपको वीडियो में मिलेगा. So I'm saying for this way, it's got nothing to do with the industry as such.
But you know, you talked about the boycott culture. I want to say most of the
Cancel
names
culture
that you,
होना चाहिए.
cancel
culture, not boycott.
The names that you took, people who writers, they're all rabid leftists and commies. They are getting a lot of work.
But he makes fabulous movies.
लिखता
Anurag
अच्छे
Kashyap, he might be left. Varun Grover might be left. But उसकी जो
But I
गाने
don't
हैं,
blame
उसकी
them
जो
यार,
movies
Anand, because
हैं,
I guess I've been saying na,
The problem is not that they are, you know, Hindu phobic, or the problem is their
Indoctrination.
selectivity. मतलब
can you separate
all
the
of them.
artist from the film? Can you do
मतलब
that?
चार
उसके
नींबू-
political अगर किसी का political ideology तुम्हें अच्छा नहीं लगता, क्या तुम उसकी picture देख सकते हो? Can you do that?
नहीं, but मेरा point ये है,
It's
अगर
increasingly becoming very
difficult.
difficult. Increasingly, because I see them on Twitter, I see them just such rabid hate. सर मतलब ये वो वरुण ग्रोवर इतनी गंदी बातें, it's like, you know, horrendous psychopaths.
I don't-
well,
Psychopath,
I mean,
take
I
it
don't
off.
agree with their
Even-
politics,
but
but
I
I
still
still like
Anand,
them.
but
Yeah.
they write very well. Their scripts are well written, and it also seems very
Yeah,
well
but here
researched.
is
The
the thing.
song.
No, but
To
Smita,
quote
here is the thing.
scriptures and
Momo
also to
Here is the
use
thing.
go on.
You see, when they talk about bigotry, religion, bigotry, and all of them are so scared to talk about Islam and the discrimination there. मतलब 4 नींबू निचोड़ने से दूध भी इतना नहीं फटता जिनकी इतनी फटती है. सबने अपनी tweets.
I want to remember this मुहावरा.
सबने अपनी
खुद ही बनाएगा.
इतना नहीं पढ़ता.
This is Anand's खासियत.
This is Anand.
His metaphors, his lokokti muhavras are
मैं
all
खुद भूल
made
गया
on his
मैंने भी
own.
क्या कहा था.
4 नींबू निचोड़ने से दूध
भी
इतना नहीं फटता.
ये सब ने ध्रुव राठी सब ने इस्लाम के
ध्रुव
ऊपर
राठी
लिखा
को
है
कहाँ
सच.
यहाँ डाल रहे हो यार?
सारी ट्वीट्स डिलीट करी हैं.
Don't put Dhruv Rathi with
stand up
Varun and all
comics.
that.
No, stand up comics, Varun. So they don't have the guts because they know सर तन से जुदा हो जाएगा. लेकिन हिंदुइज्म के अगेंस्ट कुछ भी बोल दो और फिर जब हिंदूज
वो तो है ही ना.
को गुस्सा आए
ये तो-
तब कहीं की देखो ये आज ये नया इंडिया है, ये मोदी के राज में देखो अब ये भी नहीं कह सकते.
देखो मैं तो बोला
तुम्हें चांस मिला कहने का, तुम तो कह नहीं पाए.
मैंने तो सर तन से जुदा के खिलाफ कहा था.
Yes.
कि सर तन से जुदा is mostly by people who are दिमाग सर से जुदा.
So the
Good way to put it,
selectivity is
yeah.
Hindus are the most open-minded people, yeah, for centuries. I mean, we had from Natya
So
Shastra.
if you are so open-minded,
Yeah.
then why do you block your mind against a comic or a writer? He's creating a work of art.
because
so
he's
what?
hypocritical.
Call it out,
I
no?
can see through it. You know, if somebody is saying that, look, I am making fun of Hinduism, and I know that guy doesn't dare make fun of Islam, or when he did, he's now deleted all those tweets. I feel
Would
that
you
you've
act, Ranvir, with a producer whose political view you may not agree with, or a
Absolutely.
director?
I
You
don't
will.
bring my politics to work.
Yeah.
Not at
but
all.
they won't. They won't.
That is up to them. Their decision.
No, they nahi. I'm saying a director or a producer, he might take Ranveer because Ranveer is brilliant in what he does and he fits the role. He will bring him. I don't know.
A right-wing producer will. I don't think.
इन्होंने वरुण के साथ काम किया है.
He's acted with Anurag Kashyap.
And he played the role of his
I've done
negative role
a
was
couple of small things, but nothing. It's not like we've been long time collaborators. But I'm just putting it on record. Even the person I've collaborated with the most and who's a dear friend, Rajat, he's left leaning.
Yeah.
He's not a centrist or a right winger at all.
Yeah. And you worked with several people. I've seen like whether Anupam was also on India Against Corruption, then moved to the BJP. That's okay. You're interacting with, like, even in journalism, because we're all hyper. I guess I don't know academics में है कि नहीं. We're all hyper political, and somewhere कभी-कभी रिश्ते खराब हो जाते हैं. You move aside.
I've lost entire 20-year, 30-year-old friendships because of 2019 का जो मेरा, because I kind of pitched for Modi. I lost like 20, 30-year-old friendships gone.
How did your family react to it when you were in India Against Corruption and then you became like pro-Modi? How does your family react to this?
Come on, Smita, man. My family is like been BJP supporters for generations. You know my father.
Yeah.
I had a difficult relationship with my father and my brothers actually. I mean, at that time period. So my whole what do you call, leaning to the left was, I think, part of that. I mean, if left is about that government should control, keep policies. If that is being left, I am left. I do think that policy should be
Not policies, companies, organizations, socialism. Government is basically state control over everything.
वो तो कम्युनिस्ट ज़्यादा उधर हो गया ना कि मतलब सब कुछ ही सरकारी है. मैं कह रहा हूँ कि I am left to the extent that I do think policy should be decided by government, by the people. So in that sense, I am not for कि सब कुछ free होना, free market, सब कुछ खुला छोड़ दो, जो आपने अब हो रहा है होने दो. I don't believe that.
वो वैसे in the world there is nowhere. Supposedly the bastion of capitalism in America, it's like policed to such an extent that I don't believe that they are also free market economy. So
problem,
that's a larger story.
ये जो आप कह रहे थे, जो बात हो रही थी जैसे लेफ्ट लीनिंग जो फिल्म मेकर्स या राइटर्स की ना, वो होता क्या है, आप कहते हो यार ये सूडो सेक्युलरिज्म है, उनको सुनाई देता है कम्युनल. ये है इंडोक्ट्रिनेशन, ये करती है बिकॉज उनके जो फिल्टर्स हैं उसमें उनको ये नहीं दिखाई दे रहा कि आप सेक्युलरिज्म किस तरह का हो रहा है उस पे सवाल उठा रहे हो. उनको लगता है आप सेक्युलरिज्म पे सवाल उठा रहे हो तो दैट देयरफॉर यू आर कम्युनल.
Yes, yeah.
सो ये फर्क है.
But see, here is another question. If when you say you're very good friends with them, then it augurs that you would have had discussions with them where you would explain with reason and logic why they're wrong, why they're being so selective.
फिर उसका
जवाब क्या होता है?
यही होता है कि यार ये भी तो पावर के लिए कर रहे हैं, ये क्या कर रहे हैं. फिर ये निकल आएंगे जो जैसे आप कहते हो कि ये तुम ये क्यों नहीं करते, ये क्यों नहीं, वही आता है. So I am saying this is I believe one should never lose friends, good friends, over politics. But there are a lot of people who, for them, politics becomes so personal that they're willing to let go of friendship. Good for them.
So it's like either my way or the highway kind of a thing. Either you subscribe to my political thought, otherwise
get out.
We can't. Yeah, I find it's not acceptable to me. So if somebody wants to cut me out because I don't subscribe to that political view. I mean, unless you turn around and say कि Modi is fascist, Modi mass murderer, जब तक आप तुम नहीं बोलोगे तब तक तुम हमारे साथ रोटी नहीं खा सकते.
मैं नहीं खाऊंगा वहाँ.
नहीं खाना फिर.
Correct.
ठीक है.
मेरी बहुत अच्छी रोटी है मेरे घर पे. तू चल.
तो it comes to that ultimately. So I think at some point of time 2014 became a watershed moment where it was like, how can you interview a fascist like Modi? It's my work. What do you mean fascist like Modi? He is a prime minister candidate.
Elected prime minister, yeah.
No, he was a candidate. He was not yet prime minister. He's a prime minister candidate. You guys can interview Pervez Musharraf, who's waged war on your country. So that is acceptable to you?
Yeah.
You can take a picture with Musharraf But if I stand in
Henry
a picture
Kissinger.
with Henry Kissinger, well, they are not that old, but anyway.
No, there is the current member of Rajya Sabha
Huh.
has had a very nice
okay.
picture with Henry Kissinger.
So you can do
Trinamool's.
you can do that. You can take pictures with. वो तो फिर political हो गया ना. I'm talking about journalists.
Kissinger also came to.
No, जब वो journalist थी तब.
अच्छा.
Kissinger also came to.
Quote unquote
PM's
journalist.
PM's
No,
house.
with
Yeah,
Yasin
yeah,
Malik, yaar, you're taking pictures
Yeah.
with Yasin Malik. You're taking pictures with all these people. It's fine. I've taken a picture with Imran Khan. I am
But
not.
that was when he was a cricketer, right?
No, when he was a politician.
Okay.
He was a politician, and I've interviewed, and उस जमाने में picture था. But I have
स्मिता बहुत अच्छी लगी है मेरे तुम्हारी जो इंटरव्यू है.
वो
Well played,
again
Smita.
Minder वाला है with Imran Khan. It's a lot. I'm so glad somebody is eating this pineapple
You know,
pastry.
you just keep it in
Thank
front
you.
of me for, it lasted for an hour. But
Thank
I
you
think,
so much because
Ranveer, just because you're a
everybody-
superstar doesn't mean you can't
Haan,
partake
please.
in pineapple pastry. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wenger's
Parth-
key
I
है.
will show you the discipline of steel, Anand.
This is from
But
Wenger's, by the
I
way.
need to know, please, for our viewers, we need to talk about this also. How have you both lost so much weight? Anand का तो थोड़ा बहुत पता
लग रहा
है.
है.
So let's start. And now let him eat while you tell
I
us.
know.
Ranveer.
Intermittent fasting, zindabad.
Really? कितने घंटे क्या?
At least, I mean, I tried. There are days when I don't. Like today, I told you I ate the sandwich on the flight. So there are days when I break it also. But by and large, I try to keep at least 16.
Wow.
You've done 18, right?
Yeah.
And on good days, I do OMAD, one meal. And there are some,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
for example, अगर मैंने एक आधा दिन 2 दिन binge किया है, तो तीसरे दिन I'll just do one meal a day.
वो Jimmy Kimmel वाला ना 3-day fasting and वो भी
नहीं वो नहीं होता मेरे से. मैं I go by the gut, मतलब go by the
भूख लगी
gut.
है.
go with the gut.
So I go by the how I'm feeling like.
हाँ.
But I've done well. Last we met, I think
Yes.
I was around 81.
We met at a restaurant and we
You took me for French food. I'll never
I
forget
know, and I paid for it also.
Yeah. I'm waiting for you to come to Bombay so I can pay for.
So this was in France or this was
No,
in
no. This
No,
was at
this
Paul.
was in Le Delhi.
La Delhi, Paul.
यहाँ पे कहाँ French है यार?
Bistro.
Bistro. अच्छा चलो ठीक है.
मुझे याद है फ्रेंच फूड खिलाने लिए मुझे लेके गए
हाँ
थे.
ये
croissant.
एस्कार्गो खाया नहीं ये तो वेजिटेरियन
मैं
है.
vegetarian हूँ.
हाँ.
But I think I
मैंने खाया.
हाँ.
लग्रैंड से इसको पिक किया था उसके बाद लपॉल पे खिला दिया.
लबरिजियन पे कॉफी पी गए थे.
और ले अब तू जा.
And what is your yours was a health scare and
So
as a
I
result.
no dieting because you can see. ये अभी मैं कितनी 12 इडली खा चुका हूँ. 6 यहाँ पे इन्होंने वो रखे थे पनीर के क्या थे वो रोल्स.
हाँ.
सारे मैं खा गया. आपका भी छीन लिया. इनफैक्ट इतनी दया आई स्मिता को कि इसने प्लेट सरका दी मेरी तरफ यार. You know. So dieting will never. I am a huge foodie. I cannot have.
But you've stopped having Mysore Pak?
No, I have
वो नहीं है.
some sugar free sometimes. Sugar free Mysore Pak.
Oh,
Sugar actually I've
who's
cut out.
making
ये-
sugar free Mysore
बहुत
Pak?
मिलता है आजकल.
अच्छा.
Yeah.
Yeah,
क्यों
I
क्या
did-
स्टीविया डालते हैं?
Yeah, stevia.
Yeah, that steamed chole bhature was an iconic thing.
How
tweet
can
on-
you have
I know.
steamed kulche bhature?
हाँ, exactly. The Panju in him comes out. You know, like,
Oxymoron hai.
हाँ.
Yeah.
And you know that Rich Verma had done ना, मैंने वो tweet भी किया. The former ambassador to US ambassador to India. He's like the smell of chole
खा के
bhature.
दिखा.
Rich current ambassador did it.
क्या?
Current ambassador, he saw the chole bhature. being
No.
cooked. Rich Verma did.
Rich
it?
Verma did.
Ah, okay.
तो वो मतलब the smell of chole bhature. भाई smell
खाए
क्या?
नहीं उसने?
खा के तो देखो he didn't eat
उसको बोल
anything.
पहले खा उसके बाद स्मेल देख.
जब तक हाय हाय.
भगवान.
But it's true that कि छोले भटूरे has that aura, you know. अगर नीयत खराब नहीं हुई छोले भटूरे देख के तो फिर तुम कहाँ के दिल्ली वाले हो?
अच्छा, I am not a bhature person. I like kulche.
Really?
I like kulche and I like the chole also पीपे वाले.
The yellow one.
अमृतसरी.
अच्छा वो दूसरे
They- which
चने.
in the tin.
हाँ हाँ
in
वो
the-
हरे
वो
वाले
brass
हरे
के,
brass
कुलचे वाले छोले.
Yellow वाले होते
वो
हैं.
मटर है.
मटर.
मटर है.
मटर
मटरा
कुलचा.
कुलचा they
Yeah,
call it ना
yeah,
दिल्ली में.
And no, it's
नहीं,
not
छोले.
मटर only in Punjab. It's called मटरा.
मटरा. वही तो.
मटरा यार.
छोले कुलचे कहते हैं हमारे वहाँ जो डोने में
But intermittent say you've lost like
5-6 kgs. 5-6 kgs.
For work or was it like no?
No,
health?
it was something which I wanted to do for myself also because over the time ना वो accumulate होता रहा है जब से
COVID.
नहीं उसके पहले से accumulate होता रहा है.
But you were abroad like during COVID. You were shooting for that metro wala.
No, that
metro
was
park.
after.
Post COVID.
Post COVID.
Okay.
COVID तो मैं भी सबकी तरह घर पे ही था.
Okay.
हाँ.
Anand, आप Raz.
Yeah, so Raz is just obsessively exercising 1 hour a day.
What cardio?
Just running. Running, jogging. That's it. So today, so normally at 5-6 o'clock in the evening, I go for a run. Today, because
Treadmill
of this,
or a park or something?
park.
Nice.
So today I got up in the morning to do it because I won't be able to do it in the evening.
But again, smoker.
take my sneakers.
You were a smoker.
Yes,
Smoker
yeah.
gave up
Well,
smoking.
I had, my last cigarette
heart
was
scare.
during the heart attack.
Yeah. Can you imagine?
हे भगवान.
कि ये क्या चल रहा है यार, बताओ भाई क्या हो रहा है, ये दर्द कहाँ से हो रहा है?
धूम्रपान मना है. रणवीर आप भी करो ये. Stop.
I want
You
to.
haven't quit?
Not yet.
Yeah.
I should.
He.
No, I'm
he
not
had
one to recommend because I used to hate when people used to say quit smoking. I said, yaar,
No, I don't hate it. I know it's something which
yeah,
I need to do.
along
and,
the way,
especially because my son is now, he's going to be 13.
Impressionable age.
So I have to quit now.
But we live in Delhi, तो हम second hand smoke तो हमारा
हाँ,
चलता रहता
आपका तो
So of course.
Delhi is like all of us have patchy lungs because एक तो सबको COVID हो चुका है.
प्राणायाम करो, it really helps. I'm not kidding. ये इसके बाद मैं तुमको 1-2 दिखा दूंगा एक्सरसाइजेस, वो जरूर करो रोज सुबह.
हाँ.
You'll actually see gunk coming out.
Really?
Really?
You'll see at least if you do it every day, you'll see gunk coming out.
Wow. Okay. Let's get to talking about the films.
Yeah.
What is it that you're working on right now, Ranveer?
So, कहाँ है camera? So, Sunflower season 2 is out on Z5 on March 1st, in which I play a cop. Sunil Grover plays the lead. This season, the lovely Ada Sharma joins us.
Oh, Kerala Files.
Yeah, Kerala Files, and in a very enigmatic role. And also, I think a smaller film which I've done on Godhra. It's called Accident or Conspiracy, Godhra, in which I play a supporting role along with Manoj Joshi. That also should be out on March 1st.
On Godhra.
On Godhra.
Election के पहले.
Well, yeah, I've been accused of being part of a propaganda film.
March 1st, so it's based. That's
Yeah.
going to be Godhra's anniversary, I think, isn't it?
I don't know when it's
Feb 28th. was
But
the-
you are, the film is coming out a month or a month and a half before election, so I can imagine 370 भी निकलता है
You've just
just
given
before.
away the dates for the election. इस पे ट्रोलिंग हो जाएगी, इस पे था बता
ये
रहा हूँ.
तो historically यही होता है around this
हाँ.
time.
April.
Around March, April.
April
is
मतलब
when it begins.
बैसाखी के बाद ही होगा because people have to come out to vote, right? So harvesting के time usually नहीं होता, so post बैसाखी.
But 370 को तो कोई नहीं कह रहा प्रोपेगेंडा, हमारी पिक्चर हो सकता है. और हमारी पिक्चर बिल्कुल छोटी है. It's like a really small film. First time director, newbie producer. It's really a small film.
But you've worked with so many like this, right?
Small films?
Small
Yes.
films. You
And that's why you haven't seen most of my work.
Oh, he's worked in Tiger,
No.
Tiger also.
But very
Yeah.
few. I've done mainstream, but very small parts in very few films.
Acha, here's the thing. What is the percentage of your films that have never come on the screen, have been canned?
Good 20-30%.
क्या बात है?
What?
और
What?
किस level तक पहुंच गया for shooting wooting
Finished.
सब?
सब पूरा.
Oh
I can
my
name them.
God.
How crushing.
It was
Wow.
called.
How
It was
crushing.
called.
It's like you write a
one-
novel and it's never published.
Yeah.
That's bad.
That's crazy, yeah.
I can name them if you. I mean,
And you're
it's
so,
pointless.
you're so
please do.
comfortable about it, yeah. It's
यहाँ पे survival है भाई. As
My
at least
God.
I'm surviving. It's a constant battle for survival. Unless you're in the, in the top bracket of and part of the 7 families.
Yeah.
So
हाँ.
then it's beyond that, below that it's all struggle only, यार. अभी भी चल
and
रहा
they
है.
would, which is the one that's the first one to have been canned and is not come out for years, the longest period.
There was a film called Carry On Pandu, which look at the cast: me, Surveen Chawla, Anupam Kher, Om Puri, Mahesh Manjrekar. I'm forgetting more names. This was when 10 years ago, maybe. Percept produced it, fully ready, didn't come out. I don't know why.
Oh my God.
So you had a good producer, big producer.
Percept?
The biggest there is
Yeah,
at that time.
4-5 biggest.
See, I mean, everybody, when I remember at
so
that time.
political reasons से नहीं है मतलब.
नहीं. Not, I mean, behind the scenes, I'm not privy क्या हुआ होगा. So here's the second thing which happened. हम लोग कहते थे corporate. That I remember at that time when I started my career in the 90s, it used to be corporatization. Corporatization used to be the buzzword. So the dark side of corporatization is this. उनका समझो पूरा जो साल का बजट है, से फॉर एग्जाम्पल 500 crores दे आर इन्वेस्टिंग इन फिल्म्स. होता क्या है, आपकी पिक्चर है कुछ समझो 10-20 crore टाइप, सो suddenly let's say the management change or the guy change or something happened in that. उसकी priority अलग है. No, we don't want to do mid-rung films, small films
200
anymore.
crore वाला
Let's go with the stars. Let's focus there. तुम जो छोटू 10 करोड़ वाला था, वो इसको हटाओ, write off. चलो खत्म.
But not airing it, I mean,
Yeah, I mean, write-off is one thing.
yeah.
मेरे को भी यही लोग बोलते हैं, अरे लगा दे, अगर 10 नहीं तो 5 आ जाएगा, 2 आ जाएगा, कुछ तो मिल जाएगा.
चैनल को बेच दो यार.
But अब
Marketing-
ये खत्म नहीं हो गया with the OTT guys now?
अभी
अभी भी
चल रहा है.
कैंड होते हैं ये चीजें.
मेरी तो हो रही है भाई. यहाँ तो फिर मेरी तो प्रॉब्लम इज विद मी.
अरे ऐसे नहीं बोलो.
पता तो लगाओ, दया पता लगाओ हो क्या रहा है.
मेरे साथ तो हो रहा है अभी भी.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's cruel also, no?
very cruel.
So
Yeah,
how
you
do you
spend-
cope with it,
Yeah.
Ranveer? I mean, for
Move on to the next thing. Never sit and wallow in
Brood over
self pity and all that. Move on to the next thing. Just keep.
But
moving.
you've never felt, I mean, this kind of quirkiness that यार 15 साल हो गए हैं, अगर अब वो, even though it's dated, supposing the film comes out, I remember when we were kids, there was मीना कुमारी की एक और राजकुमार की फिल्म थी जो कहा था 25 साल पहले शूट हुई थी. I don't know whether you remember.
और 25 साल बाद लगी.
25 साल बाद लगी वो.
मेरे मरने के बाद लगेंगी मुझे लग रहा है.
So people just went there for the feel of it, you know, how things
Yeah.
were 25 years ago, and it was so...
चलो
Yeah.
मुझे याद करना.
But hota hai. Even in journalism, we have like that. There was a time when, you know, there were only these big networks, right? Satellite TV itne the nahi. There were like 5 or 6 and all that. And we used to do stories from the hinterland, right? And वो लगती नहीं थी यार. There were areas which were Dantewada and all that, you know, like where teachers are working to keep the school going despite the Naxals. Road बन रहा है, you know, people are working out there. और वो बंदा shoot करता है. Shoot करने के बाद, remember, you're talking at a time before the satellite. वो फिर वो state transport bus चढ़ता है. कभी-कभी he doesn't get a seat. वो बस के ऊपर चढ़ के reaches the nearest phone booth or whatever, hooks on his that internet cafes,
Yes.
hooks it on, dial in service, sends us the thing, and we run it, and no channel will use it. Nobody wants to know the
क्यों?
success stories. Nobody's interested because न्यूज बुलेटिन्स कितने होते थे 3 या 4 दिन में, दैट्स इट मैक्सिमम. एंड दैट वाज ड्यूरिंग द टाइम दैट पीपल, अगर यार खाना खा रहे हो तुम एंड यू डोंट वांट टू सी खाली बर्तन, यू डोंट वांट टू सी विलेजेस ऑफ इंडिया, यू डोंट वांट टू सी hinterland and mofussil towns of India which used to be there, don't want to see the stories, success stories from there. It's now that we have normalized success stories. It's now that people want to know also from small town India, because small town India has got connected again. I say whatever you might say, it is because of fiber optics, because Motabhai has laid
4G,
all those
5G, yeah.
4G, 5G that we are getting that
So
access.
platforms, yeah, YouTube and all these are amazing platforms which has a lot of voices.
अभी पता है सारे comments आएंगे कि ये ज़्यादा बोल रही है, गेस्ट कम बोल रहे हैं तो.
No, but मोटा भाई कौन है? Because the many...
She's talking about Reliance, yeah.
अच्छा.
Yeah, not
Achha,
that
he's also
Reliance is
Motabhai.
promoting.
He's also Mota. I thought Mota Bhai is
Yeah, that's
Amit Shah.
Amit Shah.
No. Yeah, well, you can call in Gujarati
Anybody
Everyone's,
who is slightly
थोड़ा decision makers
Portly.
जो हैं
decision
and
makers.
Gujarati is called Mota Bhai.
Yeah.
That.
So no, I'm talking about the internet revolution in the country. It was because Jio made it so cheap. Jio is not sponsoring, just in case all of you are thinking.
No, but
इस
this
program
is
का कोई
another thing, na,
sponsor नहीं
which
है.
was ये जो leveraging the private sector to achieve विकास. Hats off to Modi ji यार.
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah.
लोग रो रहे हैं, रोने वाले जगह जगह जाके छाती पीट रहे हैं, हाय अडानी, हाय अंबानी. But the fact is, he has leveraged the private sector and made on-ground changes in the lives of Indians, and that's commendable, yeah.
It's obsession with A. Have you noticed? Adani, Ambani, Amitabh Bachchan, Aishwarya Rai.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
and ANI.
And ANI.
And ANI. No, ANI का तो आपका वो फेवरेट फैक्ट चेकर है.
हाँ.
यार मेरी समझ में नहीं आता कि उसमें इतनी कॉन्शियस नहीं है. दुनिया की फैक्ट चेक करता है. उसको मैंने ओपन दिया. मैंने कहा सो ही वांट्स 12 lakhs per month for donations to run his organization. I said I'll give you a year's donation. Year's donation. It's like 1.4 crores. You just fact check this hadith that Nupur started. He's not doing that yet. This is the kind of criminal mind that he has. He's a fact checker.
Because he has a sir and he has a tan. and he would like them together too.
But it's why I have fact checked it. But the fact is, this guy won't do it. I mean, this is the kind of deviousness that people have.
No, but I told you, it's clear to you guys keep.
No,
I told
आप fact
Abhijit
check करो,
also.
मैं आपको कह रहा हूँ,
You guys
1.4
keep
crores
wasting
दूंगा मैं
time
आपको.
going,
1.4 crore.
giving him attention again and again. मैं तो ignore ही because
Yeah.
when you know कि ये कभी ना own up करेगा. By omission, he एक साइड जो रेफरी सिर्फ एक साइड की गलतियां निकाल रहा हो उसको रेफरी. Why you treat him as रेफरी? जो रेफरी सिर्फ एक टीम की कॉल्स कर रहा है दूसरी टीम की कर ही नहीं रहा वो by the way he's
राणा याद आ गया
There's a
पाकिस्तानी
whole-
अंपायर.
हमारा नाम तो इस्तेमाल के it's helping us in a way. हमारा तो
But you- I don't even address
Every
rankings and all.
day he's tweeting
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
every
कोई
day.
बात नहीं. That's actually
Yeah.
helping
just
us.
ignore यार.
इनको मैं चौथी फेल कहता हूँ. The psychopaths. I think is the same guy whose brother was implicated in rape and he did not even mention it as news. The same guy. So when you have that kind of moral conscience, what do you expect? But fact checker का different है, you see, because if it was my organization who was hiring him and somebody offered 1.4 crore, that is a year's earnings, I'll say he's asking a legitimate fact check. Why don't you do it, man? If you're my employee, do it.
नहीं आपके एक साल के लिए वो
मतलब-
आगे के 10 साल थोड़ी बिगाड़ लेगा यार.
Haan. When you are in the film industry, like we were just discussing that earlier, that it is more leftist oriented, or it used to be more leftist. Do you see
No,
a
it is.
perceptible
Still is.
change? It's still there.
Still is
Huge.
Okay.
now you see a little. That's why all this thing about जब से फॉर एग्जांपल जो इसकी अपना विवेक की पिक्चर लगी थी जो क्या नाम है कश्मीर फाइल्स तब एंड आई स्टूड अप फॉर दैट आल्सो आई वाज लाइक व्हाट डू यू मीन ये फिल्म नहीं बननी चाहिए यार हर तरह की फिल्म बननी चाहिए आई लाइक आई टोल्ड यू आई डोंट केयर अबाउट व्हाट द पॉलिटिक्स ऑफ अ फिल्म इज
Are you for censorship?
नो आई एम फॉर सर्टिफिकेशन
Okay.
not
That's different.
not
In fact, that is what the central board is for certifying, not for censoring.
yes.
So
I
censor
stand-
करते हैं.
No,
So
I'm
you
not
are
for
totally against censoring.
not censoring certification.
So nothing is.
यार पर ये OTT में सर्टिफिकेशन क्या एवरीबॉडी सीज इट
वही है।
कौन पेरेंटल कंट्रोल लगा
भाई
रहा है
मैंने अभी वो देख लिया. I don't
मैं
know
तो
about
लगाता हूँ,
you. Animal देख ली मैंने भाई.
नहीं, मैंने नहीं देखी.
भगवान.
मैंने
अच्छा,
नहीं देखी.
उसके
I
बाद
saw
you
it.
मैं
might
ज्यादा
change.
देखता नहीं हूँ. I don't watch.
I like
lot of-
it, यार.
I don't
My
watch
first
it.
क्या बुराई
conversation
है?
with you was just that when
What?
I was asking you something on DM about something and you said that I don't see so many films.
I don't watch Hindi. No, I don't
Hindi films.
see Hindi.
हाँ.
Hindi
मैं कोई पुरानी अमर अकबर एंथनी टाइप showing my vintage I was talking to him about that and he said I haven't seen it so because I don't watch so many Hindi films
I don't.
in that but you've seen Animal
Yeah, you have you seen Kill Bill? Quentin Tarantino.
Yes.
Anything? Gratuitous violence.
Yeah.
क्या बुराई यार हमारे बंदे करें.
Gratuitous violence एक चीज होती है. Psychopathic, almost cushioning of it is another factor.
Hyper stylized violence is a genre. Koreans have made it really big.
Yeah.
So
इसमें
it's
वो
part of the.
लगा नहीं. इसमें मुझे लगा they are cushioning misogyny, they're cushioning crazy, I don't know, except stalking and this
यार
alpha behavior.
मैं
मतलब,
एक बात I would like.
don't
I
know.
was not
They are
against
not-
banning it. I am not against banning it, as I said.
You're not against banning it.
I'm sorry. I am not for banning.
I don't think
I'm
they're-
not.
Anand, I
I'm
don't
not
think-
for censorship. Absolutely.
I don't think they normalized it because the way the film ended. No, I don't want to give any
Correct.
spoilers.
Ah,
the way it ended, it was a very sad ending for the hero. Actually, the hero.
Correct. This
So
is
to
the way you
speak,
watch a film,
You
which is-
you.
The
So,
fact
मैं-
that
मेरी
you
point-
called him a hero,
Yes.
that also is self-explanatory.
चलो
In the sense the
protagonist
guy
बोल
is-
लो.
Protagonist
Protagonist बोल लो.
Yeah, the guy
ऐसे तो-
killed like 500 people.
It's
Kill
like
off,
Macbeth
come on.
देख लो.
And this is not
No,
how you
Shakespeare
watch a
is-
film.
The,
It's
I
the
think the deeper
psychotic
thing is
behavior.
But the thing is the story arc, yaar. No one is perfect. Our stylized
So
rendition
I'm,
of
I'm
heroes.
not for banning it. I'm not
No,
for censoring it.
It's changed.
I'm just saying.
I think in our country you have everything. Yeah, you have his movie coming out, which
Yeah,
is
yeah.
which is a depiction of something else. You have an animal coming out. You have political dramas coming out. You have now mythological retelling also. What is coming out? बढ़िया है यार.
हाँ, हर तरह की फिल्म बननी चाहिए यार. क्यों
Everything
एक
is
तरह की बननी
existing
चाहिए?
in our country.
Yeah.
As like you said, no censorship. In fact, you have tweeted
और
that I will fight for your right to speak in this country.
100%.
And that's
You
what
will
na,
criticize
the
it.
hypocrisy क्या होती है? The people who are objecting to a propaganda film are supposed to be champions of free expression.
Yeah, they wanted to ban Kashmir films. They want a Kerala story.
Yes.
These are the same
Banning is
guys.
wrong.
That is the
Yeah.
Banning
But
irony of the
picture
situation.
अच्छी नहीं है, नहीं चलेगी.
Correct.
Look at Pankaj Tripaঠি's Atal Bihari Vajpayee, right? In all said and done, Vajpayee is probably one of the most loved prime ministers. पर अगर picture ठीक नहीं बनी, तो नहीं चलेगी. In fact, he was here. Pankaj Tripathi was here before the movie got released. And I was like, I hope the film is right in its depiction, because when I saw Accidental Prime Minister, I just felt नहीं बननी चाहिए थी यार, नहीं हुआ.
ये time also I'll tell you this because I also feel because इतना momentum रहा है जो कांग्रेस लेफ्ट की जो values का और
इतने बैन किए इन लोगों ने यार.
नहीं वो भूल जाओ, मैं कह रहा हूँ see again मैं कह रहा हूँ state patronage जो है ना, it over time it develops that thing. उसी तरह ये these films might seem tacky right now, but you give them 10 years, 15 years, you'll see good technically more finish in these films as well.
Yeah.
एक्सीडेंटल प्राइम मिनिस्टर में यूएन वाज इंपीरियल होटल दिख रहा था यार. ये तो भाई इंपीरियल होटल की गैलरी है.
In fact,
क्या कर रहा
हिंदी
है
film
यार?
industry
ये
की
यूनाइटेड नेशंस नहीं है.
उसमें मेरा भी रोल है, पता है?
और क्या बात कर रहे हो?
In the sense that I had asked Dr. Manmohan Singh a question. As a journalist, I'd asked
Who
a
played
question.
you?
So no, there was somebody else, and I had asked this question in a press conference on board the PM's flight. But they made it a one-on-one question and answer with that. Of course, no credit given, nothing कि ये वही है, मैं बता रही हूँ अब सबको पहली बार. But this is what it was. But see, the thing is that with Accidental Prime Minister, I think maybe I am biased because I read the book, and in the book, PM doesn't, Dr. Manmohan Singh doesn't come across as a pathetic figure. He comes across as a man of circumstances who couldn't fight his circumstances, somewhat like a tragic hero. But it's quite clear that when Dr. Baru has written this book, he has a tacit understanding from Dr. Manmohan Singh to write the book. He has
Achha,
not.
I have not read it. Really?
Yes.
Yeah,
It is not a backstabbing book. Though the book was picked up then in 2014 election by Modi, and he said, "Dekho what happened with Dr. Manmohan Singh. He was run by Sonia Gandhi and all that." It is true, but it also shows how Dr. Manmohan Singh tried to fight back but couldn't. So the option was either to quit. But the point is, he won that 2019 election, and
2009.
Sorry, 2009 election he won, and that election was won because of Dr. Manmohan Singh. And Dr. Baru went on a TV channel and said, "Singh is king." When he said that, it was literally that it's because of Manmohan Singh that you won that election. And then he didn't get the job. Dr. Baru didn't get the job as information advisor to Dr. Manmohan Singh. He couldn't get the job. Dr. Singh couldn't give him the job. As a prime minister, you can't even appoint your media advisor. Try doing that today.
But here is a thing that I'll connect it to Ranvir. Modi hasn't had a media advisor for 10 years.
Oh, your media king hai wo.
So, what I mean to say is, and when he came in 2014, even I wrote that, because it was taken for granted, every prime minister and president have a media advisor. So I had one in mind, I put his name also.
But
in
he
the
doesn't
article.
need one, I think, because he doesn't do press conferences.
Yes, number one. Number two, he has his medium, although it's completely one
पता है
way.
कितने लोग इस शहर में सबके क्रशिंग हो गई थी, ये होप्स की जो यहाँ महारथी बैठे हुए थे, होपिंग की कोई तो बनेगा. Who did you put out?
Kanchan.
अच्छा, okay. Say my name. Music.
Oh yeah, we'll get a copyright notice here from YouTube.
इतने में ही?
इतने में.
Say my name.
Maybe not that much.
Right?
No,
we had Anu Malik on the show, so how can I get a copyright strike?
But I love it how Shakespeare copied Anu Malik's. It was the best of times, it was the worst of times.
But the guy is like solid, huh?
But
Somebody, I just read a tweet. He said कि मैं न्यूजीलैंड में एक बार में बैठा हूँ, यहाँ पे न्यूजीलैंड का म्यूजिक चल रहा है, and it's amazing how I've heard it 15 years ago on Bollywood because Shri Anu Malik.
ये रोते रहते हैं. Lot of the seniors I see crying. Why do they call it Bollywood? It should not be Hindi film industry kaho and all that. And then you see their work के अंकल जी इतना कॉपी नहीं किया होता आपने अपना काम तो लोग बॉलीवुड नहीं बुलाते
But
आपको.
sometimes it's heartbreaking because some of the songs were my all-time favorite.
It's heartbreaking.
आवारा,
How many
ऐसे कॉपी
क्योंकि अब इंटरनेट एज है ना तो सब निकल कर आ रहा है.
सब निकल रहा है भाई, वीडियोस निकल रहे हैं,
फिल्म सॉन्ग्स
ओम
कितनी
शांति
कॉपी
ओम,
की हुई हैं.
that film, the song ऋषि कपूर वाला फेम बोलो ओम शांति ओम, that's copied. ओम शांति मैंने कहा यार नहीं, I can't
And with
stand
AI
this.
coming, it's going to be really dangerous. There's that somebody sent a clip in which which Mohammad Rafi का गाना है in Modi's voice.
अच्छा.
Right? तो मैंने मम्मी को सुनाया तो my mother was, no, this is Modi ji. I said, no, it's not Modi ji. She said, इतना नहीं हो सकता AI. I said, mummy, it is.
This
it
is AI.
is. AI.
AI is gone. Like you can do anything.
Has
now.
someone done an AI of yours?
मेरे क्या मेरा
But they will. Ranvir.
मेरे को वैसे ही तुम
Vote
थोड़े
for
पैसे
Rahul
तो मैं खुद ही
Gandhi.
कर दूंगा.
ये best रहेगा इसका AI. I hate Modi. Guys, I want to tell you this. Vote for Rahul Gandhi. ये रणवीर की आवाज और इसका
Please
vote.
know that if you hear this, it's not me.
In fact, your clip right now will be isolated.
Yeah.
No, but I was connecting,
इतना
you
काट
know
के,
what
है
I
ना?
was talking about Modi and not choosing a media manager. How prevalent is this?
What?
Having your PR thing for Bollywood in Hindi film industry.
The higher you go, the more prevalent it is.
Really?
There are entire careers made
Tell
only
us
on
about-
marketing. Only on
Yeah.
marketing and PR.
No, you mean Twitter machinery also? Everything is just.
हाँ मतलब with your whatever thousands of bot army type whatever, all that is there, yeah.
So when Deepika Padukone goes to JNU for a जब वो protest हो रहे थे वहाँ पे and just stood silently, was this a PR move? Was this a
I
marketing?
wouldn't know. I'm not privy to any such
Okay,
thing.
keep this aside,
But I'm
but
saying
ऐसी
she has
चीजें
the-
होती हैं?
She has the right to go, yeah. क्या है? हाँ.
इसको side रखो, this particular thing, but do they take such? Are they advice कि you maybe this is a topic everyone's discussing या आप ये ऐसी कुछ चीज करो?
बिल्कुल हाँ कि उसको क्या कहते हैं? I'll tell you in PR and marketing they call it, what do they call?
यार वो
I'm forgetting
नहीं था,
that-
वो placard लेके खड़े थे. All these actresses, 3-4 actresses.
कथुआ पे.
पता नहीं किस पे, हाँ, not my country या not my watch, पता नहीं क्या था वो, where they all stood with
I am
placards.
Hindustan, I am ashamed.
हाँ.
I mean,
ये बोला था.
That was sickening, yeah.
That was not done.
Yeah.
But Rihanna, we got,
मैं
we
ये
got
आपको
to
पता
know
है जब-
Rihanna was paid millions for that, na?
शुरू में 2014 के बाद किसी बिटवीन 2014 एंड 19 एक प्रोटेस्ट हुई थी अगेंस्ट लिंचिंग जो मॉब लिंचिंग जो काउज के नाम पर हो रही थी. सो आई वेंट टू वन प्रोटेस्ट बिकॉज आई डू बिलीव ह्यूमन लाइफ इज मोर प्रेशियस देन अ काउज लाइफ. सो आई वेंट टू वन. वहाँ पे मैं देखूँ यार, मैं गया हूँ जिसके लिए उसके साथ और चीज़ें भी, मतलब कोई खड़ा है कि पता नहीं क्या किल ब्राह्मण्स या किल ब्राह्मणिज्म ऐसा कुछ लेके कुल ये, मतलब भाई
पूरी
ये
market
क्या, ये मतलब भाई ये क्या हो रहा है? मैं जो करने आया था यहाँ पे तो मेरी ये प्लेकार्ड के साथ मेरी अगर ये फोटो खींच ली किसी ने तो मेरे तो अपने घर वाले मेरे को दफना देंगे.
Yeah.
So मैं उसके बाद whatever I want to say I'll say individually on my social media or in an interview. I don't want to be part of because there are too many agendas.
Yeah.
Intersectional is the word nowadays, you know. Intersectional हर चीज़ है वो, मतलब वो हर चीज़ है वो मतलब जेंडर से भी परेशान है, सेक्स से भी परेशान है, कास्ट से भी परेशान है, क्लास से भी परेशान है. ये सब मेरे को
Marxist
समझ में
thing
नहीं आता
is
है
to
कि
be
मतलब
always
and I'm saying in filmmaking
on the
I have
boil.
seen there are films in intersectionality. तो भैया मेरे को नहीं जमता ये क्या हो रहा है? तो मतलब ये बेसिकली पॉवर्टी, मतलब क्या कहते
Poverty
हैं विक्टिम पॉर्न है ये कि वो उस आदमी की जिंदगी में कुछ भी ठीक नहीं हो रहा. एंड दैट हैज बिकम अ जॉनर नाउ. सो आई बिलीव फिल्म्स आर art and entertainment.
See, you've been a VJ also, right? And I just saw a comedy show late last night, in which he said कि इस country में आप comedy नहीं कर सकते. Indian को अगर comedy करना है, stand up act करना है, तो you have to get out of the country like Veer Das. You can't do it in this country. Stand up act नहीं हो सकता.
Please don't call that a stand-up act.
बड़े लोग कर रहे हैं, क्या हुआ?
I mean, a wet cardboard will be able to make people laugh more than what Veer Das does. It's just atrocious. It's
Come on,
senseless.
that's a bit
it.
harsh. Yeah.
It's,
But the fact is that they can exist in our country.
Yeah.
That comedy can exist. The edifice of India can survive thoughts and words and all this. That's what I think you're trying to...
I feel that. I don't know what you feel. Do you feel that
नहीं
comedy के लिए country से बाहर जाना पड़ेगा? यहाँ comedy नहीं हो
what
सकती.
nonsense? What nonsense?
Smita, depend करता है आपको किस टाइप की कॉमेडी चाहिए. I mean, if you're
type
talking about
नहीं.
religion, then यहाँ नहीं हो सकता.
नहीं, अभी apparently there's a new guy, क्या नाम है उसका? He has made some jokes.
No, I know Kunal Kamra.
एक
He
चीज
No,
deleted
not
all his-
Kamra.
He's
not
the one
Kamra.
who said
But Anand,
that
एक
he's
चीज
doing
बताओ.
agriculture. I don't know whether he meant it in
Yeah,
a
yeah.
snide manner, but whatever. But I'm doing agriculture in Tamil Nadu. मैं North कभी नहीं जाऊँगा. I can't live in North India. I can't even go to North India. और कॉमेडी में यहाँ कर नहीं सकता. अगर करना है तो फिर I have to get out of the country like
Well,
Veer
why
Das.
can't he do it in South? If he likes South so much, why can't he do comedy there?
My thing is, Anand, if these hot takes come, you know, which are they're meant to titillate or get views or whatever जो होते हैं, which sound bad.
Who's that big boss guy who's just one? Munawar.
जो
Munawar
भी,
Rana,
yes.
na?
Now,
Faruqi.
Faruqi.
Now, glad you said that.
Yes.
What do you support? Do you think the state should come in and इसको गिरफ्तार करना चाहिए for words?
Not at all.
That's someone?
Absolutely.
Not at all.
Absolutely not. But again, he has made fun or comedy on the 54 people who were burnt alive
Yes.
in Godhra train. Okay? He's made fun of that. He dare not make fun of anything related to some other religion.
कॉमेडी
ये
की सबसे बड़ी
hypocrisy है।
कॉमेडी की
ये
सबसे बड़ी
इस पे
प्रॉब्लम
मुझे
ये
you're
है
talking या तो नीचे बोल दो।
No.
कि
You're
एक साइड की करनी है, दूसरी की तुम
बस।
बिल्कुल गायब हो।
Fair
भाई
enough.
ये
हिंदूज
प्रॉब्लम
एक्सेप्ट कर लेंगे, आप हिंदुइज्म का मजाक उड़ा एक्सेप्ट कर ले, एक डिस्क्लेमर दो, वही कि 4 नींबू निचोड़ने से भी दूध इतना नहीं फटता जितनी मेरी, इसलिए मैं सिर्फ हिंदुओं का मजाक उड़ा।
ये प्रॉब्लम है।
पीपल एक्सेप्ट कर लेंगे यार, ऑनेस्टली।
मैंने यही प्रकाश झा से
एड्स में देखो, हर जगह देखो, हिंदुओं का मजाक उड़ाया जा रहा है।
When
Sacred Games also.
When
Yeah, there was another
yeah.
Leela, some other show also came. It was written by MJ Akbar's.
It was inflammatory. What you're
Yeah,
trying to say.
what I'm trying to say
but
is,
the thing is, it exists. In
Yeah,
our country.
nobody
the state
dare-
coming in.
yeah.
That's my question is the state coming in. Our defamation laws, jail भेज दो as a कि सबक सिखाने के लिए. They, at least I don't believe in it. Even जो आप fact checker की बात करो, जब इसको भी जेल ले गए थे, I was against it. You can disagree with him.
मेरे तो ट्रोलिंग हुई एक हफ्ते, I was against it.
You also tweeted.
Yes.
Don't put him
Tweeted.
in jail. But multiplicity
अलग
of
बात है,
views,
तो
वो अलग
award
बात
मिलेगा
है.
उसको.
But our defamation laws are such that you can't wipe them out. You know?
नहीं, I don't think words should bring in ऐसा state का action and all. If it's not complete, if it's not direct incitement to violence,
Yeah.
then the state should not. But I'm keeping a caveat that if it's direct incitement to violence, or even
No, but that's included in those caveats are included.
हाँ, बस वो तो
I'm
ये
a
नहीं होना
free speech
चाहिए.
absolutist doesn't mean that
As
I am
long-
against.
हाँ, बस
yeah.
then we are on. Then
yes.
by your standard, even I'm an absolutist. But problem is this: that why are you if you're a comedian, if comedy is your thing, you should do it across the board, na?
Yes.
Why pick on one side?
Like Charlie Hebdo used to do.
Yeah.
Charlie Hebdo used to make virulent fun of Muslims, Christians,
अब कोई-
Jews,
And look what happened then.
and only when they did against Muslims, they got slaughtered.
ये problem ये है, and this is not just an India problem. This is a world problem.
Yeah. So as a result, what happens? They don't do it. You know, I mean, they'll be scared. They're thinking, यार मेरा सर जाएगा भाई क्यों? 12 जर्नलिस्ट मारे गए, एक का भी नाम पता है हमें? चार्ली हेब्डो का नहीं. They're forgotten. So why take that risk? That's the question. You see, when the state doesn't back you, your bravery turns into bravado. Then it's each to his own. मैं करूँगा, लेकिन जैसे कन्हैया लाल
मैंने तो एक दो बार ये भी कोशिश की थी कि there are some accounts on X which are fighting Islamophobia and all that, and I even मतलब in spite of them being antagonistic to me, I said to them, that the community should try and fix this. But nothing happens. वो victim card ही निकलता है बार-बार. That's the problem, that you have to fix this within your own community, yaar.
Ranvir, what are the kind of films that you really want to do and you're waiting for it to come your way and it's not happening?
Mainstream films with lead roles which have an alternative streak. It looks like I've thought about this quite a lot.
Yes, but this is good. You
Such
should
as
have.
फिर से बोलो.
Batman?
फिर से बोलो एक बार.
So,
Explain it again.
lead roles
Lead roles.
in big budget mainstream films which have an alternative streak.
Nice.
Okay.
That's what I'm wishing for.
Pulp Fiction comes to mind.
Pulp Fiction would be nice.
Animal comes to mind for a second.
मैंने देखी नहीं है यार, तो मैं क्या बोलूं? But
So, if you were to look at Hollywood, which kind of film would you want that यहाँ बने? जैसे Godfather बनना चाहिए या नहीं बनी आज तक?
नहीं, ऐसी
Something like that.
एक तरह की मेरा कोई I'm not मतलब
No genre
Typecast.
fixed.
No, yeah. I even now, unless I don't have work, then anything will do to keep the kitchen going. But by and large, when I have a choice, it depends on whether the script and the role excite me and whether I have faith in the director. So मेरा ऐसा नहीं होता कि यार ये करना चाहिए, वो तो मैं खुद ही डायरेक्टर बन जाऊँ. If I had the urge to tell a story so much, I would turn director then. But I get excited by other people's vision. कि इसने ये लिखी है, अच्छा ये पढ़, इसमें ये कहानी, अरे यार, this is exciting. Will you do this role? Yeah, okay, that looks, you get excited with his. So I am very happy being a cog in the wheel for other people for other people's vision until the time that I have my own overwhelming vision which drives me to make my own film.
So, which is it like? पहले सुनते थे कि stories लिखी नहीं जाती थी. We would reach on the sets and you hear these old time actresses.
Scenes नहीं लिखे जाते. Story होती है.
Story होती है. Story line होता है. That
Scenes fresh आते थे.
Fresh.
वो अभी भी होता है कभी-कभी.
कि
मनमोहन
change
देसाई
कर
स्टोरी
दिया.
लिखते थे.
हाँ, उनकी भी story तो होती है.
Really?
हाँ. मतलब they were like you reach that position where if you're a Manmohan Desai or if you're a Subhash Ghai, you don't ask. You've been asked to be part of the project, you just say yes, presuming that you will get a role jahan pe hota tha. But when I asked Subhash Ghai, that wasn't the case, it seems. People would ask.
Of course.
Most of us would think कि नहीं अगर सुभाष घई दे रहा है, like उसने हीरो बनाई, उसने ये बनाया. No, it seems people did want to know. Actresses, yes, they wanted to get launched with so many of them, Manisha Koirala, Mahima and all. But no, they do.
No,
ask.
but every star worth his salt, no matter who the filmmaker, that's star power, which is that बिना देखे नहीं कूदेगा कोई भी star. They check क्या हो रहा है, कौन है, क्या है, सब कुछ.
But who do you know among film directors? Who do you know that okay, if this guy is asking me for a role, he'll flesh it out well for me? Who do you like working with like that?
Rajat is my longest collaborator. I've done most number of films with him and probably the best parts that I've got. Abhishek Chaubey is another one I'm very keen to work with again. Kanu Behel, I really enjoyed working with him.
Which film was that?
Titli.
Titli, okay.
But कभी रजत से आपने कहा मुझे याद आ जाता है. I don't know, it's one of the, this medium is so powerful, Smita, because it kind of seeps into your brain. And the parallel comes to mind, Anthony Perkins, the guy who played Psycho. He said मुझे और कोई रोल ही नहीं मिला यार उसके बाद.
टाइपकास्ट हो गया मैं.
एकदम मतलब टाइपकास्ट ही नहीं, मतलब लोग कह रहे हैं भाई आप नॉर्मल, यू कांट प्ले अ नॉर्मल पर्सनस रोल. तो मैं रजत को देखता हूँ ना, आई मीन ही इज अ ब्रिलियंट एक्टर, लेकिन मॉनसून वेडिंग यार सो आई एंड आई एम रॉन्ग, आई नो दैट
He's an even more brilliant director.
must be
Yeah,
but I just
after
feel
that,
that same
I know.
thing, he did
I
it
know.
so well, it creeps me out.
Creeps
तो
me
ऐसे
out.
कोई हैं मतलब you
It's
you
true.
feel it's true ना.
Yeah, even I feel that.
Yeah,
with
I
him.
just feel,
I
yeah.
can't take that image out
Yeah,
from my
yeah.
mind.
I'll take that as a compliment for my friend.
Yeah,
Yes, of course,
I
he's a
mean it as a
brilliant
compliment, but
actor.
then what do I do? Can I reform myself? That's the question.
No, there was
उनके
another
और
movie.
picture
He
देखो
was
ठीक
in
हो
दिल
जाएगा.
चाहता है also यार.
He was in दिल
तो उस
चाहता है
बंदों
also.
की बिल्कुल ही
नहीं उनकी और पिक्चरें देखो ये ठीक हो जाएगा.
नहीं मैंने
ये
बहुत उसकी
दिमाग से
पिक्चरें
निकाल लो.
देखी हैं, but you can't forget that
Yeah.
role. There are
But
some movies.
that speaks more than anything for the
About him.
filmmaker.
इंसाफ का तराजू.
Yes.
Can you take that out of your mind?
God.
I'm telling you, I've interviewed him several times
I can't
because of
believe you
politics.
guys went from monsoon wedding to इंसाफ का
नहीं
तराजू
नहीं,
यार.
she's
Come
just
on.
talking
अरे, it
about
was a-
ये बहुत
जो
गलत
ऐसा
है.
टाइपकास्ट हो गया था यार.
One was Prem Chopra.
Oh.
So my Bombay Neeraj, right, our entertainment reporter, मैंने कहा मैंने ये हटाना है.
क्या?
मैंने वो जो प्रेम चोपड़ा के ऊपर वो जो नाम प्रेम है, मेरा नाम
प्रेम नाम है मेरा,
प्रेम
चोपड़ा.
नाम है मेरा, वो निकालना है मैंने. तो I interviewed Prem Chopra just because I needed to know what it was like to be associated with that
A
name.
negative role, yeah.
I interviewed Ranjit, another film actor. The guy is a teetotaler. He vegetarian. So when एक में था वो चिकन फाड़ता है एक रोल में, तो उसके लिए कार्डबोर्ड का चिकन बनाया गया.
Amazing.
So that because he couldn't do it. So that.
But you're right. The more roles they do, for example, Pran started doing quote unquote good roles, and he got accepted as a nice guy.
See, because I'm a second
Zanjeer.
generation
Yeah, Zanjeer,
second generation filmy, this I knew when I started acting, and I was a hesitant actor. I wouldn't
Please
say,
tell us about, when you say second generation, some of the viewers and listeners won't know. So just tell us about your dad.
So my father was first he was a lawyer, then a civil servant, then he became a Hindi film producer. And he started in the 70s. He's made 2-3 medium-sized films. One with Rishi Kapoor, Neetu Singh in the 70s. One with Sanjeev Kumar, Shatrughan Sinha, Reena Roy, Mala Sinha in the early 80s. He was a smaller producer. Okay. And more than that, he was also he later in his life got heavily involved in producer association politics.
Okay.
So I think a lot of bad blood happened there. he made a lot of enemies in the business.
Yeah.
Where having a last name can be an asset.
Right.
Having a certain last
Liability.
name can also be a liability. So that was that. But coming back to what I was saying, because I was privy to all these things, I made sure I am never typecast. The problem is getting typecast, because it's very easy to do the same thing, because you're capitalizing on the one success you have. You get paid more to do the same thing. So these are sacrifices which I'm very proud of. That I never, so far, to my mind, have ever repeated a kind of role that I have done.
Yeah, I wish you would do Ghosla Ka Ghosla too.
पर
No,
मुझे
sequels
ये-
is different.
एक ही
Obviously, in a
अच्छा लगा
sequel,
था
you
वो-
can't play somebody else.
Who did you have a crush in the film industry? किसके ऊपर?
I mean, as long as if you're talking about like a healthy,
हाँ, healthy crush.
Will this question go round?
Yes, I am coming to you.
Madhuri is definitely high on the list.
High on the list.
I just love her. Yeah.
Sridevi, no?
I met
Before.
her after doing the film. One day I bumped into her at some award show, and she just walked in. Like I was talking to Usha Uttup, and she just walked in. She was there, and I just went like, like, gid. I just love her. She's adorable. I mean, really.
But it's okay, her. But who did, like, when you think of your childhood, who is that actress?
Madhubala.
Okay.
Oh my God. She's just ethereal.
हाँ, beauty ना. अच्छा, आप बताएं, टिप टिप बरसा पानी, रवीना टंडन, ये हिस्ट्री मेकिंग है in this
But
podcast.
I agree with him there.
What?
Ravina
Ravina and
Tandon.
Tip Tip.
Yeah. Because those 90s जो डेविड धवन की पिक्चरें थी,
हाँ.
International.
Other than Ravina Tandon and Tip Tip,
Yes.
who else?
Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 7th. No. Madhavi Mukherjee.
कौन था
What?
भाई ये?
Madhavi.
Never
You don't know
heard.
Madhavi?
No भाई, no.
One of perhaps the greatest Indian actress.
Oh, you're talking about the.
Satyajit Ray.
Okay.
Oh,
okay.
yeah,
right,
yeah.
okay, you're going really back.
हाँ,
Yeah,
हाँ.
way back.
From
Okay.
Ravina Tandon, Madhavi.
Charulata.
हाँ.
Mahanagar.
Yeah.
हाँ.
Most
But ये इनका intellectual streak है ना,
नहीं,
माधवी
ऐसा नहीं.
is
अरे,
good.
yeah, it's
हाँ,
just
और?
amazing.
And from
from
David
Tip Tip.
Dhawan's films, he went to.
नहीं, David Dhawan कहाँ? I mean, Ravina, was this Mohra David Dhawan's film?
No, Mohra
तू
was not
चीज
David
बड़ी
Dhawan.
है मस्त
हाँ,
मस्त.
Mohra was not David Dhawan.
No,
Mohra was
not.
अपना Rai. What's his name? Gulshan Rai's son. What's his name again? I forgot.
अच्छा उसमें अच्छी चीज़ ये लगी थी because of course everyone had fallen for Ravina. तो
Actually, in that movie, everyone fallen for Rekha.
Rekha was in that film?
No,
I didn't notice.
In
Mohra?
Khiladi, sorry.
I'm talking
In
about
Khiladi.
Mohra.
Okay. Yeah.
Get your facts
Rajiv
right.
Rai.
Sorry, yes.
Rajiv Rai.
So there's
Another Ravina starrer.
the villain Nazuddin Shah asks Akshay Kumar, who all us lads hated because
Ravina के साथ,
Ravina, to slap himself. We loved that scene.
Rajiv Rai.
अक्षय कुमार अपने आप को थप्पड़ मार रहा है. हम कह रहे हैं, yeah, cheering him.
Okay, I'm not going to let you go. Who was your crush?
Ravina was right up there, yeah.
But you
no
are like
doubt.
much younger than Anand. So in
Excuse me.
your, कौन?
No, but
God,
Ravina
yeah.
has transcended generations.
Excuse me.
That's a compliment.
Karishma?
Rekha was amazing
Karishma
in Khiladi.
Kapoor? Kareena Kapoor?
ठीक है? Everyone has their own choices, yeah.
हाँ. Who else? Hollywood?
Hollywood तो खैर it's okay, but India, I was thinking even Sridevi looked really good. She, was beautiful throughout.
हाँ.
But I can only think of Ravina, and you put me on the spot.
Yeah.
Thinking only of Ravina. My
As I said,
goodness.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. उसके बाद 8th कोई ढूंढो.
Amazing that you guys really.
Come on. Who else? I mean,
I didn't realize that Ravina has such a cult following. I thought only you, Sushant, and one generation only. But
Oh, Sushant also?
हाँ, Sushant
Achha.
also. Everybody was like Ravina in the podcast. Everybody was Tehseen also was like Ravina. Like, अच्छा, Ravina Tandon is.
The movie she did in the 90s na, was a perfect mix of humor also, sensuality also. सब कुछ
And with
था यार.
Govinda, the
हाँ.
songs with Govinda, like कौन नहीं उसको
अखियों से गोली मारे.
हाँ, and like he too will sing also those songs also. So that becomes like and an actor that you always said, like a male actor that who you thought was like, wow, this guy has a
For me,
huge
Nana
repertoire.
Patekar. For me, Nana Patekar.
Yes.
Nana Patekar?
No one
Fantastic,
comes close.
what an actor.
Yeah.
Huge repertoire, like
कि ये भी कर सकते हैं as an actor.
Or like as a star.
As an actor. Star also, whatever you want to
Star
choose.
would be, I would say,
Bachchan.
Amitabh,
Yeah.
of course.
There's nobody touches Mr. Bachchan as far as.
Unbelievable.
यार
being
मेले
a
तो
star.
गोविंदा था 90s में because I like that kind of movie that comedic thing and he resurrected Amitabh Bachchan's career also.
क्या-
But yeah,
क्या चाहिए
the body
अमिताभ
of
बच्चन
work,
से आपको यार?
the
The
body
guy
of work
was
was
like-
great.
But
मानता हूँ.
there was a
for
time
for
when his
me-
films were not clicking, man.
No,
No.
1 second. Thank God they weren't. The kind of films he did in mid-80s.
हाँ, they were crap.
He wouldn't be able to watch it. I mean, even with like somebody had this, you know, his eyes permanently open. Ajuba was one.
Yeah.
But
And there was-
generally speaking, 80s was probably one of the worst periods
Worst,
of Bollywood.
really
And
bad.
that's
Yeah,
where
but
my
you're
father-
talking
that's
about
where my
80s
father made
generation,
2,
they
3
would
films.
say that.
I wouldn't. Well, ठीक है, no, towards the 90s also there were some amazing movies, Satya and all that. The movies,
Satya was great.
Yeah, the
कमाल की
90s में
movies
फिर because that's when
towards
the
the end,
research.
I loved Rangila. Rangila was a great movie.
बहुत अच्छा था.
Huh.
बहुत
That
अच्छा
dance, Archana Puran Singh, right?
no,
Which is
Urmila Matondkar.
Urmila
Ur-
Matondkar.
Urmila.
On the rocky cliffs.
Yes,
that
and
yeah.
Rahman's songs.
My
were
goodness,
amazing.
Amir Khan did some fantastic movies in
Yeah,
the 90s.
Yes.
that's true. Yeah.
Sarfarosh.
So
Sarfarosh.
Fantastic movie.
who would you pick other than Amitabh Bachchan, like an actor that you said, wow, like
As an actor, I loved Om Puri.
I was about to say.
that he could do comedy, he
Yeah.
could do villainous roles, and he could do
And,
whatever.
and I think a very good crossover to Hollywood also.
Yeah.
As an Indian export,
Yeah,
that's why he did some fantastic roles.
yeah,
East is
Bend
East,
It Like
I
Beckham.
Yeah.
That was his, right? I mean, he was like phenomenal. That he could speak English the way he did, and yet people accepted him.
Have you seen East is East?
East
Oh,
is
I
East.
remember that, yeah.
Absolutely
Phenomenal.
He's a
riot
in
in that.
Right.
Absolutely.
I mean, that
I
was
remember
like-
one scene where it goes on and he's speaking English for like half an hour into the film. And then his frustration is building up and he's got a Brit wife and everyone's talking English. So he wants to say something really from the core of his gut. है तो बोल रहा है ओ पैर सुन ले रहे क्या Do you remember that? That resonated so well यार मैंने कहा यार ये आधे घंटे से अंग्रेजी बोल रहा है बेचारा इसका खुल के आया वो बाहर you know एकदम
It was as if he himself wrote the
Yes,
line,
yes.
you know.
Oh
Then
God.
it came.
Then
Does
Hera
it
Fairy
happen
mein he
with
did
you,
it.
like spontaneously? Sometimes, like you said a line which is not in your script, and you just said it because
Yeah,
it just
many
fitted in.
Many
Yeah.
times, many times that happens.
Yeah,
So
you-
you have to make your lines your own, right?
improvise.
So you
So
would
you
ad lib
improve?
in your roles.
I mean, I work better with people. Very few directors I've met who don't let you go. नहीं, जो लिखा है वही बोलिए.
हाँ.
Most of the people I work with, they let me. They collaborate.
Because Ghosla, it seemed ad libbed the way your interaction was.
Surprisingly, most of it is written.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's Jaideep, the genius
That's
of
how
Jaideep
amazing the
Sani.
script is, huh?
Yeah. Jaideep Sani is a genius. Of course, he, obviously because he's a genius, you see less of him. But he's absolutely a genius.
When Anupam Kher वो pizza लेके आती थी इसके साथ चटनी वटनी मिलेगा. You know the way he says it,
Fantastic
it's
movie.
like दिल से, you know कि ये खाना है, bland food की चटनी दे दे यार. You know, like I said, everybody has their favorite parts of Khosla ka Ghosla. So, but yeah, we
See,
look forward to
I'll
it.
give you a small example of the genius of Jaideep Sani, which is there's a very small portion, I don't know if you remember, in Khosla ka Ghosla, where Parveen's character comes back home and he's been waiting with the nameplates and all. And he says, कि something मेरे को नाम change करना है, and he says, नाम change करना है? क्यों करना है नाम change वगैरह? And the mother says, अरे इसको भी पानी तो पीने दो. पानी पीना है? पी ले पानी. So I'm saying just this. पानी पीना है? पी ले पानी. Just this, the economy of writing. That's what I admire most about his work. Is his sense of economy.
Yeah.
इतने छोटे lines में वो कितना कुछ subtext he is able to deliver.
And Anupam Kher's delivery of it.
Of course, actors do their job. I'm not,
Yeah.
but I'm saying the
Yeah.
due credit to the person who's sitting in that room, imagining that universe, laying the parts out.
Yeah, because we don't realize it when we watch a movie. Where ये क्यों हमको जच गई, क्यों हमें नहीं जची? Because those of us who don't know the art of filmmaking, we don't know why a film clicked with us and why we couldn't take back.
I have seen good scripts go to shit also, where directors have, अपने ego में या whatever ले गए नीचे. But by and large, script is king. No doubt about it.
Yeah.
You have a good script, half your work is done. At least half your work is done. 50% in the bag. बाकी अब आगे जो 50% कितना कौन क्या करता है उस पर डिपेंड करता है.
ठीक है. Should we wrap up?
कुछ छूट गया भाई? नहीं, अब फाइनली आप एडिट में जो डालोगे वही होगा.
Edit नहीं होता
Edit
कुछ
नहीं
भी.
होता, more or less.
I don't cut out anything. Unless somebody has named
welcome to unscripted. We got the
unscripted
script.
conversations. Unscripted, unedited. Unless there is something that you have named somebody who you don't want named. And there is a court case going on. नहीं तो मैं कुछ नहीं काटती.
नहीं, touchwood अभी तक no court case.
अब मैं भी निकल गया हूँ, तो I'm also very comfortable.
Congratulations,
Few
by the way.
threat calls, but no court cases yet.
No.
This was the one
Contempt of court case. Yeah,
wala,
yeah. I stood for Agnihotri's freedom of speech and everything. He apologized unconditionally. S. Gurumurthy apologized unconditionally. I said I'm not going to apologize. So this was it.
What did you said? Remind me.
I said I stand for Agnihotri's right to say what he wants to say.
बोलो बताओ थोड़ा और.
I was asked to appear.
पर आपको क्यों धर लिया यार? आपने तो डायरेक्ट कुछ बोला नहीं ना.
हाँ, कुछ नहीं बोला यार.
आपने तो इसको बोला.
नहीं, but according to
But
the
our
law,
defamation
even
laws are
हाँ.
so constricted now. तो
I agree with someone उस पे भी.
So that's what so basically, and the funny thing is now I can say it.
Yeah.
That the judge, the High Court judge who made me ex parte, who made me involved in the whole thing, was actually my roommate in college. I have made cold coffees for the bugger.
So he obviously held that grudge.
I don't know about
चीनी
that.
नहीं डाली थी
मैंने
आपने.
कहा यार अब मैं और cold coffee नहीं बनाऊंगा इसके लिए. So I was
नहीं,
made
it
ex
couldn't be
parte,
that, हाँ.
and I've said this publicly,
Yeah.
so
Okay.
that's not an issue. And then my turn came, and first time in my life I visited a court. यार 50 साल हो गए आज तक court नहीं घुसा था. And this judge was saying, half an hour into the hearing, he mentioned the word convicted twice. And then Sai turned around and said, as I just told you, sorry, but we have till 4 p.m. to apply for bail. Because इसमें वहीं से सीधे तिहार जाना पड़ता court से. And then Sai asked, are you going to apologize? So I looked at, you there, I looked at the judge, I said, I'm not going to apologize. Then Sai took over like a breeze. I tell you, I've never seen anyone argue like that ever. I'm not just saying it because he's a friend or, he's known to everyone. My God, he was in a zone. He didn't care if the judge was there or not. He just said it. He said, you're violating the constitution, you're doing this, that. So after that went on for about 40 minutes. Then the judge said, fine. That's how I got away. But two lessons I learned. Ki judge has such amazing power in this country. My God, before our case there was I think DSP or SP police wala. And he said may lord instead of my lord. अरे ऐसी झाड़ पड़ी, मैंने कहा भाई साहब निकल ले, बाद में आएंगे यार, ये तो ऐसा डांट रहा है जज साहब. My God, incredible power.
Yes.
Incredible. But and the second thing I learned was that if you argue, it's all about fact. After a while, it's all about facts and arguing. So the opposing counsel, who was actually what they call amicus curiae, whose job
friend
the
of the court.
friend of the court, he was quite intent about sending me to jail. No doubt about it. And he and Sai were at loggerheads, and it went on to and fro. And one judge was completely quiet. The two, and in the end, that guy came and he shook my hands and he said, I applaud your stand. And he shook hands with him. So there's nothing personal here. That lesson I learned.
Yeah, but it is a stressful, terrible period to
Of
go
course,
through.
who wants to go to jail, man?
Yeah,
It's
it's like all of us will like, कौन खाना लेके जाएगा आनंद के लिए, डब्बे लेके जाएंगे and things like that. You joke about it, but the person who's going through it knows that there is a dark humor. That's the only way you are getting through that period. I mean,
But
we are all
हालांकि
talking
मेरे को
about-
अभी भी वो नहीं हो रहा कि अगर बोला किसी और ने, इन्होंने उसको बोला तो इसको क्यों
See,
घसीट रहे
that's what
बेचारे
Sai
को यार? ये
said.
तो
He told the judge, and the judge had to be, I mean, maybe because of age or generation, he had to be explained what is a retweet, what is a quote tweet. So I was explaining all that. And he said, my lord, Anand, he stood for the right to march. He didn't agree with why the protesters were marching.
Correct.
There's a difference there.
Yes.
And that was the difference that the judge finally got it in the sense. So even Swarajya, the magazine that had reported, was sued for criminal contempt.
For reporting it.
For reporting it. But Swarajya apologized. It shouldn't have. I mean, just imagine if Times of India was, or Indian Express was sued for reporting on Bofors scam.
high-handedness.
Yeah, it's like right now, Mahua Moitra had attached a whole bunch of us, journalists
Yeah.
and news
For
organization, that no that
reporting on
to
ED
stop
sources.
us on ED sources.
Don't
That
use sources. Don't report on sources. They're drip information. Just threw it out.
said that you can't. You're a
Overreach
public
hai.
figure.
Yeah.
And agar इसका मतलब है that tomorrow if there is a defense acquisition that the country is doing and a news organization gets that,
Yeah.
are we not supposed to report on
Correct.
that based on sources?
Yes.
By the time the government comes out with the report that we are buying this aircraft, वो तो काफी time निकल जाता है.
Yeah.
But that we are considering these aircraft is something which is source-based information.
So this is very I mean, for example, if you extend the analogy of Bofors, Chitra Subramaniam reported that Quattorochi took money AE services and he was a friend of Rajiv Gandhi. Now, could you have sued the newspaper Hindu for reporting that? Rajiv Gandhi could have sued, I don't know, whoever. You can sue the newspaper, but you can't say the newspaper should not report it. And you can't say that I stand for the right of the newspaper to report it. That's even more bizarre.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
तो newspaper ही बंद कर दो यार फिर. मतलब
Luckily, your thing has become a precedent now. It'll be
Yeah.
quoted by others when they want to get out of trouble.
Hopefully. So
Hopefully. On that note, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Ranveer, thank you, Anand, for joining
pleasure,
in this podcast.
बिल्कुल थकावट नहीं हुई लेकिन मानना पड़ेगा.
Thank you for flying in from Bombay.
Thank you for
Mumbai.
flying in. Thank you for flying
Before
in.
somebody turns around and says कि ये फिर से Bombay बोल
hopefully
रही
your
है.
flight was because I saw your thread
अरे यार,
tweets
इनको
about
10 घंटे का डिले हुआ था इनका इंडिगो
वो तो
फ्लाइट में.
पुराना होता क्या?
हाँ.
पुराना.
नहीं पर आज भी
No, but
हुआ
that
ना.
went
आज
viral.
पता क्या किया?
आज नहीं हुआ.
Yeah.
I wrote it exactly how it happened. Ping pong. Closing doors for early departure. दरवाजा बंद हुआ. दरवाजा. Ping pong. Hi, this is the pilot. We have just received news from ATC. We will be staying here for 30 minutes.
Oh my God. Not again.
दरवाजा बंद करने के पहले पूछ ले भाई मैं निकलूं.
Yeah.
मैं रेडी हो गया सब कुछ ठीक है. दरवाजा बंद हो गया.
Yeah, but it's if you're one of those who feels claustrophobic in closed,
they've started this thing.
and you have bachas or something like that with you, it is terrible.
No, you 10 hours.
That was the early one. Yeah.
That
And
period.
we got. I mean, they settled with us.
अच्छा.
मैंने already lawyer को कर दिया था.
अच्छा.
They settled with us.
Oh.
Yeah, but there were so many people stuck. I was in Bombay
That's
that
how
day.
you said you're a millionaire now.
That
Massive compensation.
Guwahati flight, कौन सा flight था which I took videos out there and I tweeted it also. People were stuck in that that vestibule, that connecting that
ये भी
corridor.
करते हैं.
Yeah, people were stuck because
Right,
वहाँ से-
Radhika-
seriously claustrophobic.
Radhika आपने tweeted it about this.
Yeah, she was stuck there.
एरो ब्रिज पे भेजा और बस वहीं बैठे हुए सब.
That is madness.
So दरवाजा
that is crazy.
प्लेन का
Yeah.
दरवाजा बंद कर दिया यहाँ से एयरपोर्ट का and then delayed by 7 hours. So you can't. Acha, they are not letting them come out because the rules are such
Yeah.
that once you board the aircraft,
yeah.
then they have to take out all the baggage. They have shut the doors, so they have to wait for somebody to come and then take these decisions. We have such archaic laws.
नहीं मैंने तो इसलिए वो भी मैंने तो I had tagged DGCA and Aviation Ministry and Aviation Minister also कि ऐसा नहीं कर सकते भाई.
इसलिए वंदे भारत जाओ. I recently went on Vande Bharat.
हाँ, where you carried your own food.
Oh, that is all.
Yes,
God.
you think we've forgotten that?
Oh my God.
ये जो है ये दाल चावल नहीं खाते. ये सिर्फ French food आपको मिलेगा French food के लिए.
अभिजीत
के साथ.
हाँ, ये rocket leaves वाला salad खाते हैं. Not even Caesar salads. Not even iceberg lettuce. It has to be rocket leaf lettuce.
Even I like
With Malta.
Even I like arugula. Even I like.
No, but I'll tell you what was really scary now, looking back. I possibly should have warned people. There was no security of any kind.
Yeah.
No
कहाँ?
security check. वंदे भारत में.
Train station.
स्टेशन पे सिक्योरिटी चेक नहीं हुआ. कोई इलेक्ट्रॉनिक थ्रेशोल्ड नहीं है. आप सूटकेस ले जाइए. ट्रेन में चढ़ने में कोई से आने जाने नो सिक्योरिटी चेक. Delhi can't, which I thought is supposed to be a.
How long since you have travelled by trains?
Last was 2009.
It has never been there.
नहीं एक्सरे वगैरह तो नहीं होता.
There is
Yeah,
no
but
security.
Vande Bharat, I mean, I
यार
expect.
चाहे वंदे भारत हो, चाहे राजधानी हो, चाहे फ्रंटियर मेल हो या कन्याकुमारी एक्सप्रेस हो या कोई भी हो, देयर इज नो सिक्योरिटी चेक ऑन रेलवे. वहाँ एक बेचारा रेलवे पुलिसमैन आता है डंडे मार के, ये किसका है, ये किसका है. इफ ही फील्स दैट देयर इज अ सस्पिशियस, इफ ही फील्स, ये फीलिंग वाली बात होती है. इफ ही फील्स देयर इज एनीथिंग सस्पिशियस, वो बेचारा पूछता है.
But वो खतरनाक चीज है ना ये.
But that
This
tells
is
you
very
what
scary.
how competent and how what load intelligence agencies take in
Correct.
this country.
अरे
Yes.
एक
Because
एक्सीडेंट एंड
इतना मैं कहता हूँ इंडिया हाथी है. हाथी को घुमाने में ही So
भाई-
आप जो बोल रहे थे ना कि इमीडिएट क्यों नहीं करते, मेरा पॉइंट यही था. We are so big in terms of population and size and
Yeah.
diversity.
Correct.
Just direction change करने में ही हाथी की इतना टाइम लग जाता है ना. So speed की तो बात ही मत करो आप.
हाँ, तो you know what we say that वहाँ पे कोई है who loves India so much.
That is true. I
कि
believe that.
नहीं
बट
तो
देन
यहाँ
हियर इज द
पे
क्वेश्चन, जैसे यहाँ पे भी ना हायरार्की है.
क्या?
अब जैसे बुलेट ट्रेन शुरू होने वाली है, उस पे होगी सिक्योरिटी चेक की नहीं होगी? होगी ना.
नहीं कहाँ हुई है? That's what I'm trying to
स्टेशन
say.
तो वही
नहीं है.
होगा.
नहीं पर बुलेट ट्रेन
बुलेट
अरे
ट्रेन का
बुलेट
तो होगा.
स्टेशन तो वही है ना.
हो सकता है.
नहीं यार,
I'm not
स्टेशन कैन नॉट
saying-
बी दैट ना. बुलेट ट्रेन
Yeah.
नीड्स अ लाइन ऑफ साइट
Yeah, yeah.
स्ट्रेट. घूम फिर के थोड़ी जा सकता है बुलेट ट्रेन.
तो उनके ट्रैक्स
You're
अलग है.
saying उनके
whatever.
ट्रैक्स भी अलग है.
हाँ,
course.
एलिवेटेड है
Yeah,
पूरा.
अच्छा, I don't know. Okay.
एटलीस्ट दैट्स व्हाट दे आर
बट उस
मेकिंग.
पे कराएंगे वो.
करना पड़ेगा.
It is what Bombay
तो
Ahmedabad.
मतलब वंदे भारत पे जो जा रहा है वो
big,
मतलब
पता नहीं
target है.
जैसे
मुंबई,
मेट्रो में
अहमदाबाद.
है.
Yes, that's
आप
the pilot,
मेट्रो
I
चढ़े
think.
कहाँ पे सिक्योरिटी है यार?
नहीं.
Where is the
नहीं नहीं,
security?
मेट्रो स्टेशन पे देयर इज अ
That is
थ्रेशोल्ड.
only you're talking about Delhi metro and in some areas and all that. But
But
what
he's
is
right.
the
But
threshold?
these are high target
Vande
areas.
Yeah,
Bharat is
so
high
I'm
target.
just hoping that before 2024 election, we don't see. Seeing it's a big task. Like I said, when you come to G20, when you come, पहले होता था American president का visit. You know,
But
these were things when
I
terrorists.
share your apprehension for this.
Yeah.
I'll tell you why. Because earlier we were talking about how in our country politics takes over national interest, national security.
Yeah.
So I worry.
Yeah.
क्योंकि people are so desperate now ना कि पता नहीं you don't know
क्या
what
5
can
साल और continuity, people are worried
Yes.
because there's an entire generation of politicians जिनका career तमाम है इसके बाद अगर one way
You
or the
never
other.
know what जो घर के ही भेदी क्या करेंगे.
Yeah. Okay. Let's on that note.
My
On
scary
the dark,
hoping
on the dark
everybody-
note.
note, I honestly.
Thank you very much.
Watch your back, guys.
Right. All the best. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hope you enjoyed listening or watching this conversation. Do like or subscribe on whichever channel you have seen this or heard this. Namaste. Jai Hind. Click here to watch the previous episodes.